From the Lodge Mahal in beautiful Austin, Texas, welcome to a very special Monday show. We're down to 18 in the Mega Monster. 5,462 entries. Down to 18. Someone, a winner, will be walking away with $302,000 in a beautiful trophy. We'll go around the table. Coming in on hand number 9 here, as we're getting some technical stuff taken care of. Nobody has been eliminated yet. Actually, I believe one person has. We may be down to 17 at this point. All in from Evan with his pocket sixes for 8 million chips. Blinds are at 250,000, 500,000, 500,000. An ace-jack for Josh in the 1 seat. Josh from Tulsa. 167,000 in Hen and Mob earnings. He will fold. And Evan is going to get it through. Evan double bagged this tournament, got the double, was able to combine both of his bags. One of his bags came in the Super Turbo on Sunday morning, yesterday morning. There's your stacks. Eric, 52 big blinds with 25 million. Peter at 22 million. Evan is next with 9.6. Joel with 9.2. Josh in there with 6.8. Skull Mike, there he is, with 5.9 million chips. And Cody is the short stack with 3.1 million at this table. We do have an outer table. Down to 17.
This is cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Going to be joined in the bunker later on with 2 legends of the game. Bones will be joining me, and Jaywin a little bit later on today. Jonathan with some Broadway cards.
All in.
And he's going to go all in. This 6.1 million chips. About 13 big blinds. 12 big blinds. Joel on the button with the same hand will fold. We'll have a couple dealers today. Lisa will lead us off. Safi is our game host. My name's Slick Rick. It's going to be our intent today not to have our viewers experience any tournament breaks. We're going to use our technical capabilities, our flux capacitor, I like to say. Got made fun of yesterday that some people may not know what a flux capacitor is. I find that hard to believe. You ever seen a great movie? We saw Douglas last night wearing the same hat. He was on last night's feature table. Eric in seat 9, a Lodge Crusher, has 160,000 in Hen and Mob earnings. Joel with the Cowboys, and one of the best beards in all of Texas. We'll go over tournament chips and what their values are here in a minute. Skull Mike in the big blind. Ace-5 offsuit. Will he defend here? Be for 600,000 more chips. Looks like he is. He is going to come along and defend his big blind. Skull looking for an ace. Does hit a 5.
Almost forgot what a flop looked like.
I know, that's right. We're not playing poker right now.
Shove fast, shove fast.
Players remarking that they haven't seen a flop through 11 hands. Just all ins and folds. The rare flop they're seeing right now. Skull doing some inventory.
Exactly.
A little over 4.4.
4.4.
A big candy cane chip, an oversized chip, that's $1 million in value. Be for about a quarter of Skull's stack. I think Skull's probably going to lay this one down.
Like walk by like you busted?
Yeah,
I think so. 17. Didn't see any other reason why you'd be walking away from the table right now.
Great shot of Skull. With the bourbon-infused toothpick, his trademark. And he's going to lay it down. Joel is going to pick up a nice one with the Kings. At any time, if you want to look at the chip stacks at the top of the screen, gives you all the chip stacks, and also at the top of the screen gives you how many players remain. Right now, 17 players remain out of 54-62. Let me tell you a little bit of the numbers. 5% of the field from each of the flights moved on to day 2. There were 3 locations that we had flights in. The Austin Club had 25 flights for a total of 4,553 entries. San Antonio had 6 flights, total of 730 entries. And a club down in the Valley, McAllen, Texas, had 9 flights for a total of 179 total entries. And that, between the 3 clubs, equals 5,462. 5% of that moved on to day 2. We did have day 1 payouts in the amount of $236,800. A total prize pool of $1.824 million. This was a $1 million guarantee. $1.824 million is what we wound up with. Great job all around. Skull Mike in the small blind. Already has 250,000 chips out there. He's eyeing his opponent. Unfortunately, that opponent is one of the chip leaders. Skull's got a big stack.
How's that feel?
Huh?
To his left.
What?
How's it feel to get a walk?
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I got that stack.
Got lots to tell you about throughout the day. As I mentioned, we're going to have some guest commentators in the bunker with me throughout the day.
Makes me glad I went for it last night.
Yeah.
That was a sick one. That guy had played like super tight all day. I was really surprised that he showed up with middle pair there.
Yeah. Honestly, I just called before I could overthink it, you know?
I mean, top pair,
Flush draws,
draw,
straight
yeah.
draw.
What are you supposed to do?
5 fold. 6 fold. 17.
Skull Mike down to about 8 big blinds on the button there. Let's go over the tournament chips. We do have our largest chip in play. The candy cane large oversized chip is 1 million.
Noisy suckers when you
The purple oversized chip is 500,000.
Yeah, I think it's also
The red chip is 100,000, and the sky blue chips, whose days are numbered because we're probably going to be coloring those up on the next break, they're
Kinda weird
25K.
playing here after watching the streams, you know?
Yeah.
One fold. 2 fold.
Joel seems to have a king in every single one of his hands, sometimes two. He's going to raise again here to 1.1 million. Cody had a good chance to talk with him. He's from Canada. I believe he said he was from Winnipeg, if I'm not mistaken. And here's the aces for Evan.
All in.
5 is all in.
Evan goes all in for the second time since we went on air, this time for 8.4 million.
7 fold. 8 fold. 9 fold.
Just over 10.
This would be for the majority of Joel's stack, about 70% of his stack if he were to make this call, and he's probably not going to be making this call with King Queen. Right now, Evan will take it down with his aces. 18th place through 16th place will get $10,954. 13th through 15th place will get $12,700. And then 10th through 12th will get $14,288. Then the pay jumps start getting interesting. 9th place, $20,638. 8th place, $28,000. 7th place, $37,000. 6th place, $47,000. 5th place, $60,000. 4th place, $79,000. 3rd place, $118,000. 2nd place, $165,000. And 1st place, $302,000. Not a bad way to start the week.
4 fold. 5 fold. 6 fold. 7 fold. 8 fold.
All on.
All in. 8
All in from Eric with Queen 8. And there's the call from Josh.
What is it? I'm so short. I can't see it. Queen 8.
Queen eight. Queen eight.
Oh.
That was okay. Okay.
There's the 8 from Eric. Needs to fade a 5, ace, or 10, and does. And Josh has been eliminated. That's a tough one to be eliminated there. Was way out in front
Queen 8.
with his ace 10.
Yes. Queen 8 won a
Good
few
call.
times at our table yesterday, all ins. fives. Fives were uncrackable. Or table
I
10
folded
or
queen
whatever it
too.
was.
You love bounce.
You were at that table, right? At the, whatever that was, S10 or whatever, at the end of the night, the one we had.
Yeah.
It was like fives held for like 4 times all in. My fives held against ace king. Like fives were just, they could not die yesterday.
Yeah, his fives held, right? Like that last
Yeah,
night?
yeah,
That's what-
fives are. Fives
Down
are
to 16, folks. And there is the beautiful trophy right there. The Mega Monster. It has been a heck of a last 2 weeks.
All in C5.
All in once again for Evan. This third time we've seen in 7 hands that Evan has gone all in.
Fold.
So Mike will lay it down.
How much is it?
Peter wakes up with 40% to a royal flush in his hand and a ton of chips. This would be for about half of his chips if he wanted to make this call.
8.7. Oh, wait. 3, 5. Wait. 6, 7. 6, 8.
Peter came into day 3 as the chip leader. Did a little research before the stream. He used about 14,000 in Hen and Bob earnings. He's from San Antonio.
Seven fold. 8 fold.
Eric lays down his sailboats. And so far, Evan is 3-0 going all in here on day 3.
You wanted to, eh? You really wanted to.
Got a little bit less.
Folks, if you love your tournament poker, make your plans right here. Put it down in your calendar. The Lodge Championship Series is back. Over $2.5 million in guarantees. February 16th through March the 3rd. Find out more. Go to lodgepokerclub.com. Find out all the events. LCS, the dates, February 16th through March the 3rd.
Four fold.
All in.
5 is all in.
All in once again from Evan. This time he's got Big Slick. 4th time
I wish I would have been
in 8
on
hands.
5 seed today.
6 folds. 7 folds.
Seems like a good draw.
I finished the night in that seat too.
9 folds.
Could have left me there.
4th time in 8 hands that Evan's gone all in.
2 folds.
And they've all worked so far.
Just in fuego, huh?
Evan shows this time.
Ace queen last time.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I was so close to shoving there. Queen jack off. I got fucking run over.
Five calls. Six folds. 7 folds.
Douglas with about 10 big blinds.
8 folds.
Lays it down. Over to Eric. Ace Jack and 31 million chips. He's going to make it 1.3 million, raising it up. Jonathan with about 12 big blinds on the button will lay it down. So does Joel. Over to Cody. Canadian Cody. Back to Evan. Evan's going to make the call. So we're going to go to a flop here. 3.8 million chips in the middle. Hand number 18 on a 6-high board.
Check 5. Check 9. Check 5. Check 9. Check 5. Check 9.
Eric's going to take this one down and add to his stack. Eric came to day 3 with 22 million chips and in 18 hands has gotten it up to 34 million. Blinds 250,000, 500,000, 500,000. 16 players remain. We will play until there is a winner today. Peter with the Cowboys. He was the person who had the most chips coming into day 3. Reaching for some raising chips.
7 raises to 1.25.
1.25 million
9 folds.
is the raise.
2 folds. 3 folds.
Come on.
All in from Cody. King, queen.
5 folds.
And it's going to get snapped off by Peter. And here we go. Cody is in trouble. This would be for his tournament life. Cody could use a jack.
Sheesh.
Got some opportunities here, man.
No jack.
Nice play.
Good game.
And Cody is eliminated
Good game, man.
in
Give me a message online
16th
or something. If
place.
I come up to Winnipeg, I'll hit you up.
Sounds good. Thanks.
That's
Yeah.
nice playing with you, man.
Yeah, good play.
Cody will head back to Winnipeg with 10,954 US dollars. Said a ton of people up where he lives watch our live stream. We appreciate it. Have a lot of Canadian fans of the Lodge live stream. Fans from all over the world. I was telling somebody earlier today, it's shocking the percentage of people that watch our stream from the U.S. is smaller than most people think. It's around 50% of all of our viewers are from the U.S. The rest are from all over the world. Peter in the 7th seat raises with his ace-jack suited.
9 folds. 2 fold, 3 fold, 5 fold. And 6 folds.
Skull Mike on fumes right now. Under 6 big blinds. And the blind levels are going to be going up next hand. You hear the clock.
2 folds, 3 folds, 5 folds. Oh, okay. Blinds up after the stand.
Skull Mike here. He's going to push here with ace queen. It's going all in. There it is.
6, 7 folds.
Eric has 33 million chips. It's about 10% of his chips to make the call to eliminate a person, Skull. Skull way out in front with his ace queen and a chance to double up. A much needed double up. 7.2 million. There's a jack right in the window, but a queen right behind it. Oh, my goodness. Skull needs to fade a jack or a 6. He does. Skull Mike gets the much-needed double up. Little scary there with the jack right in the window. And Skull Mike, a little bit of breathing room.
Too rich, Eric.
Okay, blinds are now 360.
Blinds are now 300,000, 600,000, 600,000. So Skull now with 12 big blinds. Big hand for that man right there. Eric with suited Broadway cards raises it on up to 1.2 million. Back over to Jonathan.
3 folds, 5 folds. Six folds, 7 folds. And a call from two players.
Doug wakes up with crabs here. And a backdoor flush possibility for Eric and a gut shot. But Doug out in front.
Table of 5 and a table of 4.
5 and 5. We combine here at 9.
Blinds at 600.
Nines of my
And there it is. And into the bunker comes a Lodge legend. You know him. You love him. The man himself, Bones. Bones is going to help sit here for a couple hours and talk some poker. What's going on?
Not too much. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You were in this tournament,
I was.
and where did you finish?
Where do you work, by the way?
I don't remember the exact number.
Company called Lumen? What's your
Middle of yesterday, right after dinner break.
Okay. Bones, you had a big score a few months ago, over 100,000. Which tournament? We were trying to figure out which tournament that was.
That was the Lodge main event.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to call me later, though. 'cause
So
I get to work,
14
right?
players remain.
My wife thinks.
We started today with 18.
Fishing?
Yeah, for the
You are
weekend.
fishing. And you are sick. You got, no, God. Can we get a COVID test to the stream table, please?
I have the Rona.
Oh, my God.
Skull requesting a
No, I can't do anything like
medical test.
Should have. I had terrible.
All in from Douglas. Douglas's family was watching him yesterday. I wonder if they're going to be watching him
Good luck.
today. And there's the call from Eric with all the chips. Eric looking to knock Douglas out here on hand number 23.
I have hope.
Pretty standard shove by Douglas and call by Eric for just under 6 big blinds.
There's a 3 for Eric. Doug looking for a queen or a 7. There's the queen on the river.
Out there.
And Eric is trying to knock guys out, but not able to do so.
Fishing for the queen of spades.
Nice smile from Douglas.
Now she knows I'm not fishing, but I have a twin brother.
You just won't. Yeah.
Is your twin brother playing husband today?
He's an Austrian.
Douglas from Sugarland, Texas, out by Houston. There's the outer table. We'll go from time to time to the outer table.
Looks like Matt and Caleb are still alive. A couple of locals.
Yes. And looks like 14th and 13th place will make $12,700, and then we'll have the pay jump.
What is the pay jump?
Pay jump goes to $14,288, so about, what, $1,500.
Okay.
Skull Mike with his favorite hand, Queen 9 suited.
Probably doesn't have enough chips to play this from the hijack. I know he's on the cutoff.
Eric far and away has been the most active at this table. Eric came to the table
All in.
with 22 million chips, and he goes all in with Queen 4, putting the pressure on Jonathan. Jonathan with about 8 big blinds. And Eric sees that, using his big stack.
Yeah. So since nobody's really close to Jonathan in chips, he can call a bit lighter than if he was, say Douglas had
Miss
5
Texas,
million.
not Oklahoma.
He has to be a bit tighter because he's now trying to outlast Douglas for a pay jump. But when he's significantly covered by everybody else at the table, he can call a bit looser, knowing that like if he doesn't act on a hand, he's basically gonna get blinded out and not get the pay jump anyways.
So he can be a little bit more aggressive.
Right, but you still can't call off, which is absolute garbage.
Yeah. Evan, who's gone all in 4 times in 25 hands, and they've all worked. Reaching for some raising chips. The candy canes, those are $1 million each. He raised the $2 million. Skull Mike with 10-8 going to go into the muck.
It's a pretty big race size here for Evan. I played quite a bit with Evan at the start of day 2. He caught several punts, but he seemed to be playing pretty well.
Peter from San Antonio with a pocket pair.
So in theory, in these last 2 tables, particularly in the final table, but in the last 2 tables, there's not going to be many cold calls there's going to be 3-better fold for the most part, primarily because of the factors of ICM. You really don't want to be going to showdown because whoever is covering stack can apply more pressure to you. So in theory, stuff sixes is either like 3-betting or folding there, and that goes for the most part. There's in theory, there's very little cold calling in these spots, these ICM spots with pay jumps.
Going to have bones for a few hours, and then later on, if we're still going,
How did you become a skull?
J1 will be coming in.
But I actually started with this. And I haven't brought it out in a while. I felt like bringing it out today.
Skull Mike telling the story of how he
While I was on
became Skull.
vacation, I'll let you play your hand.
Okay.
Peter says, okay, with the snowman. We maybe.
So this is a decent spot to 3-bet here for Eric. He can put a lot of pressure on Peter. The two of them really don't want to play big pots with each other, and Eric can leverage the fact that he has him slightly covered and that he's in position to really put a lot of pressure on him here.
And he is going to raise here. Looks like he's going to make it 5 million.
Yeah, and this is just a really brutal spot for Peter. He's probably just going to have to fold here.
Let's see what he does. Back to Peter.
And it's really unfortunate for Peter, this table draw, because it looks like the two of them have everybody covered by a significant amount. So Peter's just really handcuffed. If Eric wasn't there, he could open a lot more. He could, he wouldn't be in these tough spots where he's going to have to play out of position against a covering stack. So kind of the hidden luck in these final 1 or 2 tables of tournaments is just your table draw and your seat draw.
Want to stay away from the other big stack.
Yeah. They're very heavily incentivized to just let other people bust and ladder up. That looks like he's going to take a flop.
He is going to come along.
And obviously his dream here is to hit an 8 and then become a massive chip leader.
No 8. There's the ace for Eric. And a horrible flop for Peter. 3 overs. But he's going to continue.
This is interesting. That flop should just really smash Eric's range. Peter has probably the worst hand possible on this board that he would continue with. He'd probably fold 7s. So 8-8, no spade is probably the absolute worst hand he shows up with here.
Pot building. Peter now dead to an 8.
Check 7. Check 9.
Goes check, check. No 8. And Eric with the check mark.
Check 7.
And it goes check, check. And Eric is going to win a 16 million chip pot.
Yeah, and now the result of this pot means that Eric can apply even more leverage against Peter. Because before, he had him covered by, like, 8 million? So, like, he could put some leverage on him, but, like, if Peter won a big pot off of Eric, Eric now loses all of his leverage. Now, when he increases that stack and the difference between the two, he can now take a few more chances. And this is just, even though Peter has a ton of chips right now, his table seat is just a nightmare for him.
Eric, if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's 162 million chips in play. Eric has 25% of the chips in play.
Yeah,
with 14 remaining.
This is an amazing spot for him.
No, I've 2 out at
And as the tournament progresses and each pay jump is worth more and more, he can apply more and more leverage to people. And just really put people in awful spots while he chips up.
Joel, relax, buddy. That's not how you treat your friend. You're supposed to be happy for your friend.
Happy for you, man. Glad you won that pot.
Thank you. Jesus, let me live.
How are you enjoying this tournament coverage?
I love it. I love it. I'm not, I just love poker, but I'm not a tournament player. I do enjoy playing them, but I'm definitely am not a good tournament player. So I love watching when it gets down to the final table in tournaments and the strategy. And I learn a lot listening to what you're telling us. But it's fun. I enjoy it.
The one thing I like about tournaments in particular is that everybody has basically the same goal. Like when you're playing cash, some people are there to gamble, some people are there to try to win, some people are just trying to pass time before, they just want to get away from their wife, whatever the situation is. But once you enter a poker tournament, your goal is to win, right? So coming into day 3, I haven't had that many day 3s in my life, but they are, it's a very cool feeling because I promise everyone who has come in, all 18 players who have come into today, they all thought about it this morning. What it would be like to win?
Right.
They all have their game plan. They all, pump themselves up in the car, that kind of thing. So it's very cool to see everybody trying to reach the same goal. Whereas in cash games, you don't necessarily see that, right? You have people.
That's a good point.
Of, different motivations or whatever.
So Jonathan, the short stack at the table, goes all in with the ladies. Peter, with some Broadway cards, will be about 25% of his stack to make this call.
Yeah, this is just not really a spot you want to be in. I think something like King 10 is probably pretty close.
And he will lay it down.
Good fold.
In the big blind, and Jonathan is going to.
Another consequence of that big pot that he played with Eric is that now he has a bit less room to make calls that he might make if there weren't pressure on his stack.
Let's hear from our stream sponsor, Fume, as we have a new dealer. Anastasia takes over for Lisa. Yeah, there are better ways to kick that habit. All natural botanicals, real flavor, and real satisfaction. Fume is designed for fidgeting and getting your fix the healthy way. No toxic ingredients, no electronics, just pure habit-changing flavors. Visit tryfume.com/lodge with the code LODGE and pick up your good habit today. Fume, our title sponsor. No smoke, no vape, no nicotine. It's flavored air if you're trying to get rid of that bad habit. Smoking or vaping, try Fume. It's a great product. Tons of different flavors. Very well made. Very nice design. Thank you, Fume. Back to the action. Jonathan, who just won the last pot with queens, now has 40% to a royal flush in his hand, and he's going to raise it on up. Looks to be 1.3 million. Skull with ace 10 on the button.
I'd expect him to fold here. Probably doesn't think he has any fold equity jamming against Jonathan.
Got a couple behind him, too.
Yeah.
He will lay it down.
Good fold.
Douglas in the big blind, just 700,000 to call. Will he defend with his 8-9 offsuit? And it looks like he is reaching for chips. He is going to defend.
Call.
Going to make the call, and we will see a flop. Anastasia, the pride of Ukraine, is going to give us 3. Oh, oh my God, what an action flop here.
He is not going to like the answer there.
Oh my goodness. Flopped straight with a possibility for a straight flush, and Douglas with 2 pair, all in call.
He cannot hit the 9 of clubs.
You're in business, dog.
Pretty good flow.
Only 3 outs.
It's for Jonathan's tournament life.
Wow.
There's the 9 of hearts.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? And Jonathan is done.
Wow. That's got to be heartbreaking for Jonathan.
I guess so.
You caught a hog there on the
Yeah.
fishing line.
That was what I was fishing for.
What a hand, Bones. Come on.
That was something. I'm in shock, to be honest.
One could
That
only
was-
imagine if he had lodge gear on, if that river doesn't come.
That's funny. Skull giving
He had some lodge gear on.
the player who left with another card house's gear on.
Yeah, it's a good.
I mean,
Skull
that's a
says
bold
if he had
move.
lodge gear, maybe he would have won.
It's a bold move, huh? Bold move. What a river card, huh? Don't tell the wife.
No, no.
Don't tell the wife.
Yeah, thank God for the.
That was the only 9 that could have come.
He could have hit an 8, too.
He could have hit an 8.
But yes, that was the only 9.
Wow.
It's unlikely. 3 outs. Gets there sometimes, though.
Wow. What a hand.
I had to say it.
Makes sense.
You know,
13 remain.
people here would be mad if I didn't say it.
Peter's
He should have some lodge.
Saying he's
Some
unlucky.
lodge
going to have an
gear
opportunity
on,
to
you know,
put some pressure on Evan
got
here
his head to
post-flop.
toe and something else.
Oh.
So,
I mean, Douglas, wow. The 3-outer, and there are times in the tournament you have to look back,
set
and
the poker god
that's
on
going to be one of
something
those
like that.
times if he ends up winning this tournament.
Yep. There's just about every tournament that someone wins, there's one of those.
Open-ender for Peter.
There's not much Evan can do here with these stacks.
I want to thank our moderators, as always, VW Bug and Yoda. Thank everybody for tuning in today. Once again, we're going to do our magic. We're not going to have you waiting at all through any of the breaks today. And we have 6 players at this table. And looks like we've got a situation on the outer table. May have had an elimination there.
Let's see. Don't see who the other person in the pot is.
We may be down to 12, and I think we are. The 10s, the boat for the 10s and the Ducks will go down in flames. And we looks like we are down to 12 players, which would mean there is a pay jump. 12th, 11th, and 10th place will get $14,288.
Nice.
And another all-in for Evan. His 5th all-in since we came on stream.
I'm going to fold.
Skull lays it down.
Like his style, but he doesn't have a lodge.
No, he's a cool guy. It's fine. He's just not. If he's neutral, neutral's cool. He can't be, gung-ho
I got to count.
other way,
Yeah.
Neutral's fine.
So since I'm wearing a rounders hoodie, that's technically the lodge.
No, that's the same flag. That's
Yeah.
like an OG. That's fine. No problems with you.
Skull Mike.
And no problems with that guy either. He's a good guy, but come on. You're asking for trouble.
Waiting for the graphics to catch up. Don't quite know what Eric has. Joel, 3 people live inside that beard.
My cards are live.
How many squirrels?
You like ZZ Top? Every time I see Joel, I think of ZZ Top.
Is there
I
any
enjoy
situation
the
where it could be 0%?
3 to 4 songs that I would recognize by them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Every time I drive through the Grange, I make sure I put on the
of
Grange.
course. Classic song, LaGrange. Very few lyrics in that song, but one hell of a song.
You're looking at it with like whole cards, other people's cards have folded. And they
ZZ
calculate
Top
it.
from Texas.
Oh, true, yeah.
Former school teachers, those guys.
Are they from LaGrange, or is that just
I think they're from the
a
Houston
reference?
area.
Okay. I mean, I always see it on the way to Houston.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's right in the middle between Austin and Houston.
So you said there's no more pay jumps until 9th? So 12th, 10th, and...
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
12th, 10th, and 11th, and then 9th will get 20,000. So a huge pay jump from 10th place to 9th, almost $6,400.
So again, when you're in these spots, you really want to pay attention to where the pay jumps are. In the next between the next couple of bust outs, you can play a bit looser because you're not sweating out one person busting before you, right? A few people have to bust. So this is 10th and 9th will be people playing tighter than right now from 12th to 11th. In theory, some people may just try to win the tournament, don't really care about that kind of stuff, so they'll be looser. As we see Eric just really trying to open up and put pressure on these smaller stacks that are just trying to survive.
Both players whiff this flop. Let's see if Eric continues. 36 million chips.
He can pretty much c-bet 100% here. And just knowing that, like, it's going to be really tough for Evan to fight back without being all in.
2.4 million chips. About 2/3 pot size bet.
Take a really big size there and get the job done.
12 players remain. Slick Rick, along with Bones, the Yinzer poker stud, Bones. How are your Pirates doing? I haven't checked too much.
I think they're around 500. They might be a little below 500. I think they're in LA right now. It's been a decent year. I've had Paul Skeens having an outstanding year, making the All-Star game as a rookie. But other than that, we're not the best offensive team, but we've got some young pitching talent.
Pittsburgh, one of those rare cities with both major sports teams, the same colors.
All three.
All three, that's true. The Penguins, the Pirates, the Steelers, all black and, you say black and yellow or black and gold?
Black and gold.
Black and gold.
Come on. Yeah, it makes things very easy.
Yeah.
So Eric can really, there's going to be some spots where Eric will be able to go all in with Joel, Evan, and Mike behind him for just a simple, 10 big blind shove. And this should be a shove no matter what Mike's other card is. Unless he wants to trap.
Let's go with 12 big blinds.
All in.
All in.
Yeah.
Little mystery hand. We know he's got an ace. And Peter's going to ask for a count with some Broadway cards.
In theory, I think this is a call, but I don't. I actually made this mistake against Mike before, calling with this exact hand. And my after some discussion with friends, I thought it was a fold. But against someone who's going to be finding the shoves with, like, King 5 suited, Queen 8 off, stuff like that, it's going to be a call. But I don't know if Mike is shoving those hands, so it becomes less attractive to call here.
Battle of the blinds. So it'd be for about 40% of Peter's stack.
Peter calls and loses, he'll be down to, what is that, about 10.6.
Yeah.
That puts him in a really tough kind of 15 big blind spot.
He will fold, and Skull's just going to give him a fist pump and say, wise move, young
I'm gonna
Padawan.
call your boss next week.
Does Mike know how to scan the
I'm not gonna
cards? I think
tell
he
him
missed it that time.
Anything about today, I'm gonna say.
Can we
you
have
helped
Safi
me
go show him how to scan the
on
cards?
some type of job, and you deserve a raise. Please send me his email or phone number, and I'll do that for you.
All right.
And if I mention anything about poker, you can punch me in the stomach. Fair?
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
I'm not gonna mention anything about poker, so I'm not gonna get punched in the stomach.
Eric, far and away the most aggressive at the table, as he should be with the biggest stack.
Yeah, with these stacks, he has a license to just
We fold.
raise it just about anything decent. Douglas has to fold a lot of hands here. He's trying to stay ahead of these other short stacks that have, 7 to 9 million. But it worked out for him last time, so he's going to continue.
It sure did work out for Douglas, catching the 3-outer against Jonathan, the 9 of hearts. Both players whiff on this flop. Douglas looks like he's in pain. A quick fold. And Eric continues to amass chips, now 42 million.
There you go.
And the smile.
Pat yourself on the back, young fella.
Yeah, this is just a great spot for Eric. I've played some with Eric in the lodge tournaments, and he always impressed me. I've always thought he played pretty well.
So, especially if you're a local, you get so many flights, so many chances, and then you roll back the blinds like 5 times for day 2.
God bless McAllen, Texas.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I'll tell you what they mean by that after this hand. It's an interesting tournament. So there were a total of 40 flights. There were 25 in Austin, 6 in San Antonio, and 9 flights in McAllen, Texas. And
Saw one of the guys just walk by that was playing.
day
I
2
think that might change here in a second.
comes. They came back to 3,000, 6,000. Well, you were there yesterday. 3,000, 6,000. That was due to the fact that in McAllen, the much smaller flights, that's when their tournament ended with their qualifying people. So everyone in the tournament went to the smaller blind level. So 3,000, 6,000 was an extremely small blind level to come back to. Most people were coming back to 100 big blinds.
Yeah, tourney average was 100 big blinds.
Yeah.
We bagged it 15K, 30K the night before, which just was an absurd dynamic because the pots we were playing at the end of the night were worth so much more than the pots you play the first hand of the next day.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild.
So Eric, 8.3 million to call with his ace 10. This would be a fair fight here.
So this is an interesting spot for Eric. It's pretty close in theory. The reason that you may not want to make this call is that you kind of want to maintain this chip stack to be the hammer and not the nail, so to speak, right? So when he folds here, he now gets to keep applying pressure to the other stacks, which he still can do, but his chips are worth a bit more as the aggressor than making these calls.
Good point.
And busting Evan here doesn't affect him that much, right? It doesn't really affect his place in the tournament.
The downside is much worse than the upside in this particular instance for him.
Yeah.
Especially with Joel behind him.
Well, Joel doesn't really matter. Joel only has
Got ahead of myself there.
10 big blinds left.
Yeah.
Joel coming into the
Wow,
pot
that would've
doesn't
been something.
affect him too much.
I've never seen something like that.
So Evan is like 6-0 in his all-ins since we started the stream.
Donation.
I think I'd give it back if that happened.
So we mentioned Evan double bagged, came, and one of his bags was in the Super Turbo, which started, I believe, at 9 a.m. yesterday morning. It was the last flight of the tournament, a Super Turbo, and Evan bagged in that one.
Sounds like it's been a good few days for him.
It's a long day yesterday for him. They finished up last night at 3 a.m., actually this morning at 3 a.m., came back at 2, and Douglas with the hockey sticks going to race here to 1.5 million. And he will take it down. And I imagine, 3 a.m., they finish here, they go back to their house or their hotel, wherever they're staying, and they're not going right to sleep.
It's very tough to get to sleep. Because you're making so many decisions, and then towards the end of the night, the decisions are so important that you just have adrenaline, and your brain is fatigued, but you still have the adrenaline rushing through you. I live about 40 minutes away, so I've always been able to kind of unwind on the way home, whether it's from a cash session or a tournament or whatever. And then by the time I walk in my door, I'm usually just like done with it or whatever. But that's harder to do than to say.
All in here from Joel with Ace Jack.
Is that 5-2?
5.4. 5.4.
We have 1-3, so that's. Man, this sucks.
Yeah, these kind of like suited aces go way down in value as the stacks shrink. Just because they just become really uncomfortable calls with ICM implications in play. For these 10 big blind shoves.
I mean, your range is wide enough to have.
Makes the call, and this is for Joel's tournament life. Way out in front here.
Deuce.
Or hearts.
Or hearts. Or a wheel.
Ace for both players. There's not a deuce out there. That graphic is incorrect on that flop. They're going to get that corrected here.
How about just to 8?
He's got some chop outs.
Just an 8.
There we go. There's the board is correct.
Okay.
Joel will get the double up.
$1 mil more?
And after the next hand, I've got some breaking news, or as Doug Polk would say, breaking news coming your way after this hand. I would like to tell everybody, there's an outer table action.
Looks like Matt is all in.
Got 10s again versus ace queen. And 10s will hold.
I don't know, it's Caleb? Oh, it looks like Matt had the 10s and Caleb had the ace queen.
Matt, who used to be known as Westlake, I guess he got rid of that moniker.
Yeah, he went to high school there, but I don't think he really associates being from Westlake.
All in from Skull Mike with ace 10 suited. He's going to take it down. So let me tell you some breaking news. I'm going to tell you two pieces of breaking news in a row. First of all, if you like this Mega Monster, it's coming back next August. Look for the Mega Monster to be back next August. And how about this news, folks? Many people have asked for it. You've got it. Winter Mayhem. $1 million guaranteed December 2nd through the 9th. $1,200 buy-in. Mayhem is back December 2nd through the 9th. Lodge always bringing the heat with tournaments.
Skull has a hand who can jam here. Don't think he wants to min raise this one. I think he wants to either jam or fold.
Blinds will be going up next hand.
1.5.
Douglas has been particularly sticky in these big blind defense spots. Might be why Mike sized up a bit.
Call.
There's the call from Douglas in the big blind. He's going to defend. And it'll be Skull Mike heads up with Douglas.
Let's see how Douglas decides to play this. Stacks are really short.
Skull on the button with 12 big blinds. Goes check, check.
Seems like a pretty good spot for Douglas to lead here. Don't expect Mike to check back many 10Xs with stacks being this short. And he can't show down 8 high.
$750.
750,000. Douglas will be folding here, wouldn't he?
He can fold or he can make it 2 million maybe.
He's going to fold, and Skull's going to add to his chip stack. Now 11 million. Skull came to the table, started day 3 with 7.2 million in chips. See everybody in chat, and there's the beautiful trophy. The Mega Monster, August 1st through the 12th.
Still trying to get one of those.
Yeah, I was talking with Skull earlier today. You remember the road to the LCS? You participated in a few of those.
I did.
They were basically 18-person sit-and-goes. And Skull won 2 and finished second in a third. So he's got experience with these 18-person tournaments, which ultimately day 3 is an 18-person tournament.
Looks like we lost Caleb.
So we're down to 11. And Caleb from Austin has 146,000 in Hindenbaum earnings. He'll add a little bit more to it.
About 14,000, right?
Yep. 14,288. Yeah, Caleb was telling me he finished 4th in the Gladiator and like 21st in the millionaire out in Vegas this summer.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Made himself about 100,000 in tournament earnings. Skull with the jiggities. Here we go.
$1.5.
Makes it 1.5.
1.6. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's got to be 1.6. Skull should know that.
Mine is frozen.
Blinds went up to 400,000, 800,000, 800,000.
Little memories. Nice. Meant to make it more. You got a discount.
I could have called the 1.5.
Joel with 40% to a royal is going to make the call in the big blind. And two good friends who battle on the 1-3 table
11.
a couple times a week
11.
are heads up.
Ooh. This is a spot where I don't know how hard Joel's going to fight for this pot, but he definitely has a hand that can fight for it. Very surprised Skull check back here.
There's the straight for both players, but
And
Joel goes to the queen.
That's game over for Mike.
$900.
He's
Oh, my goodness.
yeah, he's going to need a queen here. Let's see if Joel decides to check raise here. I would assume he's going to want to check raise, not expecting Mike to put in too much money on a river when he gets called.
Joel with the nuts. Raising here.
And Mike with two jacks. He's, you know,
How can he get
definitely
away? How
he's-
can, he can't get away.
yeah, he's definitely not trying to get away. He probably expects Joel to have maybe some hand like a 6 or a jack. I don't know that Joel is the type to check raise a turn with just a queen for a gut shot. And then, yeah, Mike's going to call. And then
Oh, my goodness. Skull, desperate for a queen.
Skull's best hope is a...
There's the queen.
Wow.
It's not an ace there. It is a queen. There it is, and it is a chop now. Holy moly, Bones.
That's... I always say that it's not real in that room. The runouts are just not... They're hard to believe.
What a card for Skull. Oh, my God.
And is Mike going to put in the rest of it? So his thoughts are here is like, if he raises, he's not going to get called by anything but a jack. But it could be king jack. So I think he probably just wants to call here since he's not really going to ever have bluffs. Crazy run out here. And Mike, who is never in any hurry.
All in.
Oh, there he is.
King Jack would be sick.
Wow.
What a river.
Wow.
Crazy run out there.
Wow.
I was very surprised when Mike checked back that flop.
Wow, wow, wow. Didn't think I like that river.
I mean, how lucky is that? The queen. The saving queen.
Guard the wall, Joel.
Lucky, the red wizard usually gets people right there.
Almost there.
And Joel saying, how did that just happen?
Can you leave me alone, please? Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Joel also got there on the turn. So these hands kind of go back and forth. You know,
Yeah,
it's,
the fuck?
both of them will kind of feel unlucky
Yeah.
and a bit lucky.
How many jacks are in the deck? God damn.
How'd you like the river?
It's not a nice spot for Mike here.
1.7.
It's tough playing these small pairs when you're short stacked out of position or from early position. And Evan has a decent hand here. They're both, or he's about 10 big blinds deep. And not on a pay jump.
And I do want to just remember I told you a little earlier about Mayhem being announced. We're still working on the final dates for that. We plan on running Mayhem in November or December. So don't hold us to those dates that I just announced, but Mayhem is coming back in either November or December. So look for that. There you see our stacks here. Eric, 53 big blinds, 42 million chips, and Evan is our shorty with just 9 big blinds.
How much is that?
A shove here for about 9 bigs. See if Eric feels compelled to call. Expect Evan to have all the lower pairs. I'll say 4s plus. He's gonna make the call and be a little disappointed, but it's not the end of the world to only have 43%. Got a king high flop here, which is great for Eric. Oh,
There's the ace for Evan. And there's the 7. And Evan is going to win 8 million chips.
huge double up there for Evan.
And Eric comes back down a little bit. He was just at 42 million, now at 34 million. Still a ton of chips. 11 players remain. Next pay jump is 9th place. So 10th and 11th place get 14,288 for their efforts. 9th place, though, 20,638. And it starts getting real after that. $6,600 pay jump from 10th to 9th. And then almost an 8,000 pay jump from 9th to 8th. So here we go.
All in.
All in. Evan with the snowman.
Interesting spot for Mike. So one thing you kind of want to think about here is Evan doing this with queens through aces, or would he make a smaller raise? Is he doing it with his small ace-x and small pocket pairs? Maybe. It's a pretty tough spot. What do you think, Rick? One for call, two
I
for
don't
fold?
think he's going to fold. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's going to fold. He doesn't want to think about
That was fun.
making a bad decision with ace 10.
That's kind of one of the benefits of jamming eights there are hands that would jam over your open that would just fold
You guys, but I'll definitely look
to your
forward
jam.
Looks like we got an all-in situation on the outer table. Aces versus ace queen, and it's not looking good for ace queen. Needs runners for a straight. There's one of them. Is there a king in the deck? Nope. And it looks like all of the
that's it.
chips, and we might have an elimination, and we are down to 10 players, almost to the final table. They're going to move one of these players to the outer
What was that
table.
big hand you had? Like aces.
So now there's a 6K pay jump.
kings, queen, what was it?
So
Ace, king, queen,
some of these
10.
smaller stacks are really incentivized.
Then I hit.
So even if you just look at the chip stacks
Seven
right
on a
now,
turn.
He hit a 7 on a turn.
And the other guy
Eric
on
can put a
lost
lot of
out.
pressure on the rest of the players at the table
But you won
because
the tournament.
busting next
I thought you won
is a
that
pretty big disaster.
tournament. We're about to lose a player in here, right? That's what they told you, Stasia? There's 10 left, right? So Eric's going to be bouncing.
What?
You're going to go to the other table probably to balance.
Oh, I see.
I'd imagine.
That's great news.
Yeah, I mean, that's
great news, man.
if that's true, that's
Wow.
great news for the rest of the table.
Pick up your shit. Maybe
You're a bully,
roll an angle when you get out.
It's really how fast they can do it.
Yep, and it's just
I said it might
the
be.
luck of who's in the big blind next.
That's weird.
That's weird.
That's pretty weird. Guess their blinds aren't affected, or I don't understand. It's weird, you know? Weird things are happening. Joel, you want to stay or you want to leave?
I'll stay. I'm comfortable now.
Skull in the cutoff will fold. Over to Peter on the button. On to hand number 48. Blinds are 400,000, 800,000, 800,000. You're watching day 3 of the Mega Monster. 5,462 entries. We had 25 flights in Austin, 6 flights in San Antonio, and 9 flights in the Valley. And a total of 5,462 entries. $1,824,308 in the prize pool. Of that, day 1 payouts were $236,800. Skull Mike with ace 3 suited here in the hijack.
.6.
Skull is going to raise here. Little Ming click to 1.6.
Discount.
Skull wanting Joel to call. It says discount there, and Joel makes the call. He may regret that.
See if Mike decides to c-bet here. He'd definitely like to fold out some overcards. Let's check it back.
Goes check, check. There's his 3. So
Joel has a decent hand here to start applying some pressure.
Jack 9 or 10 is what Joel's looking for.
But keep in mind that they're on a 6K pay jump right now, so it's really, you really don't want to be losing chips.
This time it's Joel's turn to fire out.
I think if he had made it about 2 million, it'd be pretty tough for Mike to continue. But
Skull going ahead and making the call, and we will go to a river. Joel looking for a Jack 9 or a 10. Not an 8, though.
so
That is not a 10 on the board. It was an 8. So a Skull with the check mark.
this is a pretty good card for Joel to bluff. Generally, you're not bluffing too many board pairing cards, but I would expect Mike to almost always bet an 8 here. And his check back range is probably a lot of ace highs and small pairs, and you can put him in a really tough spot.
2 pair, Joel.
2 pairs good.
Yeah, big hand from Mike there.
Skull Mike wins that pot. He's got closing in on
Yes.
20 big blinds now for
Big
Skull
guy,
Mike.
but come back
See
soon.
my chips here? They'll bring it.
No, you're going to get it right.
And looks like we are going to balance the
See you
tables.
guys soon.
Yes, good luck out there.
And Evan, all in Evan, I'm going to call him. He's gone all in like 7 times in 49 hands. He's going to the outer table, and he says, I will be back. One more eliminated, and everyone will come
Okay, sure, if you say so.
to the table.
Good luck, guys.
Look to you.
Skull in the big blind, looking at Peter. Skull says, you can have it.
Round and round it goes. Bye-bye.
Big pay jump here. The difference between 10th and 9th is $6,400, give or take a few.
All right.
The anticipation.
$1,008,000.
Douglas is going to raise it to 1.8 million.
That's a good number.
Mike thinking about skulls or something. I don't know. This is not an ideal spot for Peter. You have a hand that you would normally defend, but it's really tough versus, what is he, hijack? Yeah, hijack opening range off of 10 big blinds. King 8 is just dominated a lot, but you can just flop an 8. So what do I know?
I'm all in.
All in a quick call.
Wow.
And this is for Douglas's tournament life.
Good hand.
Hand number 51, and Douglas is standing up saying, that's it for me, but he's been there before.
Redraw, right? Gotta take
Unless it comes Jack Jack.
Yeah, dude, I got it.
He would need magic,
Hold on, it could be Jack Jack.
and it's over. Peter flops, trips,
Thank you, sir.
and we are down to a final table.
Thank you, sir. You too. Nice hand, sir.
Thank you.
And a nice 18 million chip pot going to Peter, making that call and flopping trips, which is always a nice thing to do. And folks, we are down to our final table, and we might have just a few minutes here. It looks like we are going to pause the clock here. We are 14 minutes from a break.
So right now, all the players are on break. And I'd imagine that they are kind of clearing their head, trying to come up with a strategy for how they want to play the final table. They're going to be redrawing for seats. Like I talked about a little bit earlier, your seat draw at the final table is hugely important, and it'll kind of determine how aggressively you can play. And
So we are going to, through the magic of our flux capacitor, we are going to fly right through this break. We'll be right back. And we're back. You are looking at the final table. There is Skull Mike with 14 million chips. And final table Kev in the box. Blinds now are 400,000, 800,000, 800,000. We are just about 14 minutes from our first break of the day. So we did all that without you having to wait any amount of time. Players had a redraw for seats. Evan, who's been very aggressive all day. Nicholas, who we saw last night on the stream, is now at the table. There's Matt from Austin. We used to call him Westlake, no more. So down to our final 9 players. Ninth place pays $20,638. Everybody's locked that up.
That's $2 million.
Evan fires out $2 million. Nicholas is going to lay it down, and Evan's going to win a nice pot. $8 million, go up to $23 million. Blinds, as we mentioned, 400,000, 800,000, 800,000. There you see the final table chip stacks. Joseph at 44 big blinds. Eric, 42 big blinds. The shorty is Randall at just 6 big blinds. He'll be looking to shove. Joel also with under 10 big blinds. Our man Skull Mike right in the middle of the pack with 18 big blinds. Peter from San Antonio. is going to raise here on the button with 6-7 suited to 2.1 million. Joseph, even though he is in Yankees gear, he's from the Austin area.
6 million total. Put the big chips up front, please.
Had a good talk with him pre-stream. Has 20K in Hendon Mob earnings, the man in the Yankees gear. There's the fold. Joseph takes that one down, and we're headed to hand 54. So we mentioned before, Lodge Championship Series, our flagship event here at the Lodge. All set for February 16th through March the 3rd, over 2.5 million in guarantees. Put it on your calendar right now, February 16th through March 3rd, LCS is coming back. Slick Rick along with Bones.
Pretty
in
exciting.
the bunker.
Yeah, pretty exciting to see a couple of my buddies still at the final table. Skull and Matt and Joel. It's always nice to see people that you play with on a regular basis do well. Unless you hate them.
Unless you hate them.
But I don't hate them.
I like Joseph, but you know, I've got a theory about adults wearing jerseys with numbers on them. Unless you're playing, don't wear a jersey with a number on it if you're over the age 21.
Really?
That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. Are you a jersey guy? Do you wear jerseys?
So here's the thing, Rick. As a Steeler fan, we're actual fans.
Yes.
You don't go to a game without a jersey on.
Yeah. All right. Can't wear a T-shirt or the colors, or you have to
No,
wear
you're
somebody's.
you're going to the game. You wear a jersey. You take your terrible towel. You put on a jersey.
All right.
You dress appropriately. You support your team, Rick.
Oh, I'm all about supporting the team, but
I thought you were going to hate on him for wearing Yankee stuff.
Well,
that I
that-
get. That's totally understandable.
that is a given.
Yeah. Is that David Wells? Not David Wells. That's a hard stance on jerseys, Rick.
I'm just that kind of guy.
For a man that wears hoodies with his own face on it,
That's different.
that's an interesting stance.
Phones with the needle to Slick Rick.
This is kind of a tough spot for Matt. He's a pretty crappy hand. He's definitely incentivized to outlast Randall and Joel, so he's going to let it go.
Nicholas is going to take it down. Matt's an interesting guy from the Austin area, cash crusher, and he's moving, I guess, into more PLO. And you know a lot about Matt. You played with him a lot.
I do. Matt is. I probably talked more poker with Matt than anybody else in Austin. So definitely rooting for him. I've known Matt since he was, I don't know, 20. So yeah, always rooting for Matt to do well. And he's an extremely good poker player, whether it's Hold'em, PLO, tournaments, cash. Yeah. I have a ton of respect for him and the time that he's put in.
There he is, Skull Mike with Big Slick. Here we go.
16.
He's going to make it 16, 1.6 million.
2 fold, 3 fold, 4 fold, 5 fold, 6 fold.
And Eric back to about 32 million. He had it well over 40 million at one point. He's going to come along with ace 3.
That's it. Seven checks.
And will Skull continue here with his big slick?
There's definitely merits for betting and checking. He definitely doesn't want to get check raised here. And he also allows Eric to, on a check line, if Eric has a king or an ace, he allows that card to come and cooler him with his, better top pair.
Great turn for Skull. Picks up the nut flush draw and top.
Mike trying to keep the pot small, trying to wait out Joel and Randall for these pay jumps, which are considerable. What's the next pay jump?
Yeah, it goes up 8,000 from 20,638 for 9th to 28,258 for 8th.
Yeah, so keep in mind as we're watching these hands play out that you can make $8,000 just by folding and someone else busting. So there's a ton of motivation for these short stacks to outlast each other.
1,000, right?
Especially the ones like Randall has, what is that?
You got jokes?
6 big blinds. 6 big blinds isn't worth a ton as far as winning the tournament, but if he can outlast Joel, it's worth 8,000 in real dollars.
Is Shane McMahon going to be there tonight?
I hope so.
How many seats you got? How many seats you got?
Final Kevin.
Oh my gosh, you don't want to go see that shit.
Final table Kevin has tickets tonight to see a wrestling bout, Monday Night Raw downtown Austin. So he's got to get out of here early.
Is he going to dress up like the Macho Man when he goes?
I don't know. I used to watch wrestling. All the guys I mentioned, he said, no, they're back in the 80s. I haven't seen it since, but used to get into that.
4 calls. 5 fold.
So it looks like Evan's going to employ a limping strategy for this final table. Trying to keep pots a bit smaller, play a little post flop.
We are just minutes away from a break, but y'all will not be taking any breaks
Heads up.
through our technology, our flux capacitor. No more breaks during our tournament live streams.
I would expect this hand to be all in.
Flush possibilities for Randall. Aces for Evan.
With only 4.5 bigs.
4 is all in.
Yeah.
8 call.
And there's the call from Randall. This is for Randall's tournament life. Needing some help is Randall. How about a club? Does not come, and Randall's day is done. He finishes in 9th place, and he will collect $20,638, and we're down to 8.
Are we screwing up the table at all, or are we doing that on the break? Okay, sounds good. Okay. So I'll still call out Joel as the okay. All right, single big blind.
Down
Slide us left on break.
to 8. Look at those pay jumps, folks.
All right, dead small on the 8.
Everyone is locked up. 28,258 at this table. But somebody, one of these guys, is going to win $302,000 to start their Monday, their week off.
Not a bad way to start the week.
Oh, my gosh. If Skull wins this, I better get more than a sandwich. That's all I'm saying. I'm tempted to say, let's go get on a plane, head to Vegas for the night, party in Vegas. He won't do it, though.
He's a responsible man. He's got a wife. He tells people he has a job. I've never heard about this job, but he tells people he has a job.
Yeah.
7 calls. 9 folds. Heads up.
So we see Joseph kind of taking over the chip lead here as the tables have combined. And like I talked about earlier, these two are really incentivized to not play big pots against each other.
7 calls.
In theory, there's almost an unspoken, not really collusion, but just both of them realize that it doesn't benefit either of them to play a big pot against the other one. As I say this, Joseph is blasting off with nothing.
3 bets. 3.5 million.
There's the 5 for the wheel. Eric
Wow.
gets there. Hearts also get there, but let's see Joseph picking out chips for 33 million. Looking like he's going to put $1 million in.
Wow.
That is a dirty room.
10 million and a call.
10 million, Ricky.
I'm sorry, 10 million. What did I say? Well, $1 million. Those
Wow.
big.
That is a huge swing in chips. And that just gives Eric an absolutely commanding chip lead.
To be clear, Eric will be the button again in the 7, even with.
So that 36 million chip pot with the wheel on the river for Eric will take us to the break, but we're not taking a break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Yay.
Well, the players just took a 10-minute break, but you didn't. Through the magic of our flux capacitor, we are back. You're watching the final table. 8 players remain. Everyone's locked up $28,258. Chip leader at the table, courtesy of that last hand, Eric, with now 50 million of the 162 million chips in play.
Rick, I've known you for 5-6 years now, something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know that I've ever heard you as excited as you being able to fast forward through these breaks.
It's fun. As a watcher, you don't want to be on break. You want just the action.
Absolutely.
Evan with the bullets. Raises to 3 million, hoping somebody, at least one person, will come along.
Pretty big open size here for Evan.
Blinds 500,000, 1 million, 1 million. Every orbit, 2.5 million of your chips going into play, whether you want to or not. Next break, 2 hours from now.
Melt it.
I'm holy king spree.
Yeah, you had a real hand.
Can always see the players' chip stacks at the top of your screen there. Eric, nearly double the next person.
So yeah, Eric can just apply a ton of pressure right now to all these middling stacks.
I want to thank everyone watching. Closing in on over 2,000 people watching right now from all over the world on this Monday afternoon, just before 5 p.m. Central Time.
I'm going to assume that's a card reader error. With the under the gun limp with 4-3 off. But we'll see.
Skull in the small blind, just 500,000 to call.
Yeah, this isn't really a spot you want to get involved.
He will not defend. Peter in the big blind. His option.
All in.
And he goes all in with ace deuce.
3 folds.
And you feel like Joseph just gave away 1 million chips for not really much reason with the 3-4 offsuit.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume that's a card reader error. We have no reason to believe that that's.
Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, that's, his play otherwise hasn't suggested that that would be part of his arsenal. But, you know.
The Yankee cap might be too tight.
Exactly.
You're watching the final table. This mega monster, 5,462 entries. 5% of each of the 30 some odd flights. There were 25 flights in Austin, 6 flights in San Antonio, and 9 flights in McAllen. So 40 total flights. 5% of the fields came to day 2 yesterday. And a $1.824 million prize pool. We guaranteed $1 million. I think we shattered that prize pool. Thank you to all who played and everyone who worked so hard for a great weekend here.
Yeah, I can't say enough about how well this was staffed and organized. Outside of the very odd bagging 15, 30K and coming back to 3K, 6K, which, you know, it happens. I mean, I can't say it happens. It doesn't happen. But it's not the end of the world. And it definitely made for some very interesting play at the end of day 1.
Skull Mike, ace-9 on the button.
2 mil,
Going to make it $2 million.
2 faults. 3 calls. That's it.
Joseph with 10-7 in the big blind defends, and we'll go heads up. Skull, pretty good shape here.
3 checks.
I think he's pretty incentivized to c-bet here. But he's generally been checking behind in these spots, these kind of ace-high spots, where his big blind defends.
There's the ace for Skull, and now with the check mark, Skull's going to find himself with more chips in his stack.
One bet, 1.7 free fold.
1.7, and Skull will take down another one. So Skull now with 18 big blinds.
Yeah, he's working his way up into that next tier with Joseph and Peter. You know, a little bit behind Evan, and quite far behind Eric. But again, they're just trying to outlast Joel, Matt, and Nick.
Yeah, Joel here, the shorty with 5 big blinds. Needs some life preserver. Skull in the cutoff with 8-5 offsuit. 1 million to call.
Two raises, 2.2. Free fold. Four folds, 2 runs.
Evan with a fairly tight fold there with Jack-5 suited. But again, he's also trying to wait out some of these smaller stacks. Doesn't really want to be putting in a lot of chips out of position.
I want to thank again our moderators, Yoda, VW Bug, for doing great work. Thank all of the folks who are tuning in today.
Three raises, 2.5.
he's sizing up a bit here to not give Nicholas a very good price to defend his big blind. This is exactly the kind of hand that you kind of want to price out. But it looks like Nick's going to defend, try to hit a pair and be all in.
5 call. Heads up.
Or that.
Nicholas from Farmington, Utah.
See if he just decides to lead here or check raise all in. Yeah, he's going to shove.
3 folds. 5
It's always,
Very nice pickup there for Nicholas. Much needed.
always great to see folks from all over the country come into the lodge for tournaments like this. Cody, who was on the feature table earlier, from Winnipeg, Canada.
You ever been to Winnipeg, Rick?
Never. I've been to Toronto, Montreal, and Quebec. Those are the Canadian cities I've been to. Not to the other side of Canada, mostly to the eastern side.
I think Quebec is a province.
Quebec also a city. Quebec
Quebec
City.
Quebec City, Quebec. Okay.
Yeah. The only city in North America with a walled fence around it. Did you know that?
A walled fence?
A wall around the entire city.
Oh, like a city wall.
Yes.
Is there like a moat as well on the
No.
outside? No moat?
No moat. The tanks for Joseph. Raises the 2.5 million, and Evan with some Broadway cards on the button will lay it down.
See if Matt has anything worth defending here. He's got to be really tight with Joel about to blind out. Verse 2.5, I can imagine he thinks he has no fold equity here.
All in.
All in.
6 is all in.
Joseph asked for a count here on hand number 64.
7,300,000.
Cool.
And there's the call with the tanks.
Look, man.
Matthew needs some help. This is for his tournament life. Looking for an ace.
Or a four.
Or a 4.
Got some spades working. Got some spades working. 4's no good anymore, but 9 will chop it.
Red deuce down.
And Matt, the Austin Crusher and legend, is going to leave in 8th place.
Yo, good game, dude.
And he will collect $28,258. Not too shabby.
Just a cool 70 buy-ins.
Single big in the
And we are down to 7.
More sweaty.
So next
I've
payout,
been sweating it a little more than you.
next signpost is $37,306.
Huge pay jump for Joel.
$1 and $1 mil.
9K in his pocket just for Matt busting there. And now Joel is the only very short stack. And everybody else will be kind of trying to wait him out before they make other moves. And again, this is one of the spots where Eric can just put a ton of pressure on these 17 to 20 blind stacks.
So Joel, with 5 big blinds, just made $9,000 for just sitting around.
Yep. Just having a beard. 9K.
Just having a beard.
Right in his pocket.
Buttons dead. Dead button in the 6. Actions in the 1.
And this hand in particular, players are going to be very incentivized to fold. Thinking that Eric will most likely put Joel in with a huge percentage of his hands. And again, they'll get the ladder up just by folding, you know, a good percent of the time. Or you can just have aces.
Evan with the bullets makes it $3 million.
The problem with 3 million is that he doesn't get to reopen the action if Joel puts the rest of his chips in. If somebody calls in between and Joel puts the rest of his chips in. But it doesn't matter.
There it goes. Joel with the Gretzky hand, looking for a 9-ball corner pocket, or else his day is done.
Very unlucky for Joel to be against a better hand for his last.
There's the 9.
Okay.
Pretty good too.
Four clubs.
Ace from space for Evan is what he's looking for. Does not come. And Joel with the boat.
Back in business.
4.3.
10 big blinds now for Joel.
And everybody else at the table is very disappointed because they are still kind of on that edge where they need to be waiting him out, and which means they just have to play tighter. Don't really get to play a bunch of hands that they would want to play.
That's a good point.
Ace is cracked.
Pretty much any other stack on this table hurts.
Aces twice at the final table, too.
Not much reaction from Joel. Not even a, yeah.
He's still only got 10 bigs. It's honestly, when you're in this situation, like it's very exciting, like to win a big hand or whatever, but you still have a job to do, and your job's not finished. You definitely want to enjoy the moment, but at the same time, it's like you have many more hands to play. You need to take that time to reassess what the stacks are now, what your strategy is going to be.
3 folds, 4 folds.
Try to maintain your composure. I mean, obviously, you know, you can celebrate whatever, but like, you try to maintain your composure and keep your eyes on the prize, which is making the best play you can on every given hand.
Skull in the big blind with the suited Doyle will say, let's play another pot. Let's get new cards. 7 players remain.
Right back out they go.
This was a $400 buy-in tournament. Winner, one of these 7 people will win $302,000 and the beautiful trophy.
What would be the first thing you do besides go to Vegas with Skull Mike if you won 300K?
If I won 300K, that's a good question. Probably buy myself a little present. Something. Take my wife on a nice trip.
Nice Patriots jersey?
Nice Patriots jersey. Did you ever, after this hand, I want to see if you remember something.
7 fold. 8 fold. One fold. 2 call. Heads up.
Pretty loose defend here by Peter. Very unorthodox lead here.
2 bets. 2.6.
Trying to put pressure on Nicholas's smaller stack. Again, Nicholas is incentivized to outweight Joel, but as his stack is now closer to Joel's than a few minutes ago, he's not losing that much, you know, if he ends up getting stacked here. He does have a pretty good hand to jam with his gutter, overcard, and backdoor flush draw. But it looks like he's going to call and try to win the pot on a future street.
Both players with squadouche. Peter finally says, I'll check, and this leaves an opening for Nicklaus. But he checks too. And the check mark, king high.
And with a diamond in his hand, he's got a not unattractive bluff candidate. He's just gonna
He
give
goes
up.
check, check, and Nicklaus.
Well, Nick hasn't checked.
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry. I thought it went check, check.
So now Nicholas is thinking if he wants to try to fold out ace high
He's
or
gonna-
like pocket fours or something.
He's going to bluff with the best hand here.
Yeah, just to cover all his bases, just in case Peter was bluffing with a slightly better hand.
Nicklaus is going to think he just bluffed there, but he had the best hand. So you mentioned earlier, what I would do with 300,000. You remember that guy who was asked years ago, just won $1 million tournament. What are you going to do? He goes, well, I'm going to pay off some of the people I owe money to. And he goes, oh, well, what about the rest? He goes, well, they're just going to have to wait.
Yeah, they're going to have to wait.
It's a great classic
It
line.
really is. All-time great line. It's been attributed to several people.
Pocket pair for Evan. He says, I just got my aces cracked. Now I just got fives, but I'm going to fire out $3 million. And Nicklaus, who just won with what he thought was a bluff, with ace jack.
This is a tough spot. Again, these are two middling stacks. They're not that incentivized to be playing pots versus each other. Against early position under the gun, early position open. It's kind of a tough spot, especially against a really big size that Evan's been using. And again, this is one of the dangers of cold calling, is you just get opened up to a squeeze here, and your $3 million just goes down the toilet.
Peter, contemplating what he wants to do here with his Cowboys.
All in.
All in. He shoves all 21 million in.
For 21 bigs, that seems about fine. It's very tough to find, against a 3x open and a call, it's really tough to find a size that doesn't commit you anyways. So you may as well just be all in. And when you're choosing a 3-bet size and if you're trying to determine if you want to be all in or not all in, you kind of want to find a spot where you still have fold equity, but you're not committing an amount of chips where you're just going to have to call it off anyways.
If you want to play on the Lodge live stream, there's Skull Mike. That is his third grade picture right there. If you want to play on our live stream, reach out to Skull Mike on his Instagram or Twitter at Skull Mike Poker, or email him at skullmike,
I just feel like it's so
thelodgepokerclub.com. Let him know what days you're going to be in town. He will start the conversation with you. One thing, though, we could make you a star.
Second stack.
You think he's going to quit his job if he wins this?
No.
No. You think he's going to quit his other job if he wins this?
He may have already quit his other
Who
job.
knows? Who knows with that guy?
He should never quit that job because he doesn't really work. He gets paid and doesn't have to work but maybe one day a month. He's got a great gig.
Shh, Doug's listening.
One raises to 2 million, 2 folds. Three folds. Four folds, 1 rinse.
Nice for Mike to chip up here. Kind of maintaining
Lines are hot, Joel.
his position at the table.
Yeah, they are.
So there's just those 5 guys who are all grouped
One of the guys
within
from San Antonio, he
5 big
actually,
blinds of each other,
made it
4 big
through
blinds
the
of each
flight.
other.
I was on because I had a big stack.
Let me guess. You had pocket nines.
No, I had pocket 9.
Oh shit!
And he had king 9,
Wow.
and he binked the king.
2 kings?
No, just 1.
Oh. But you still made it. Look at you.
Yeah, they don't work for me when I try them.
You're still here.
This guy complaining about running bad at a
The last man
6,000 person
standing in
final
San
table.
Antonio, right?
That's because of
Sure, bud.
trickery. It's not because of.
One folds.
It's not because of pure run good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
Joseph with the ladies.
See if he decides to go for a smaller size. Yeah, I think that's pretty good with queens.
And also a guy at the beginning of day 2.
5
left me off
million, the 3-bet.
top pot. There was 5 to a straight, and I had the top end of it.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you, sir.
How much did you start with? Thanks.
We really haven't seen any late 3-bets at this final table at all.
Oops, sorry.
3-1. Actions in the 8.
We're so lucky to have Bones in the bunker today. We had the Tranimal yesterday, and I believe, you know who else is on his way is one Jaywin, who finished, when did he finish, 150th or so in the main event? Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Something like that.
We had 3 deep runs in the main event from the lodge. Mixon Poker had finished 72nd. High finished 105th. And Jaywin,
Yep.
another deep run.
Did you know Jay wouldn't quit a job where he was making 180K a year?
I remember that vlog.
Exciting stuff.
Five calls.
I want to watch the stream back tonight. I want to see what chat said.
All in.
All in.
This is all in.
Eric.
Eric's just going to put pressure on these middling stacks. By the way, it is a huge accomplishment for all these players
I never have any criticism.
to get this far in a tournament this deep. Just very impressive. So
Tourney chips right there. The candy cane large chips, they're 1 million. The purple chips are 500,000, and the red chips are 100,000. Those are the 3
Probably just 'cause a bunch of
chips we have in play.
people- generally people in Austin are kind of friendly, you know.
People from all over. Watch. 150% of the audience is
One folds. 2 folds.
domestic. 50% is international.
Oh wow.
I told Vic earlier, it
4 folds.
blows my mind that you guys get such a following down in Australia.
Yeah. English speaking, all the English speaking countries.
I'd expect Eric to just put Joel in here with a huge percentage of his hands. 4 deuce might not be one of them, but. And kind of like I talked about before, since Joel is so far behind all the other stacks, he can call off a bit lighter than the others can because he, has less to lose.
The rare
Yeah.
walk there, right?
Keep him in.
Yep.
Winter in Australia right now, isn't it?
Yep.
So weird. They have Christmas in the summer.
Joel with 10 big blinds. He is the short stack at this table. 7 remain. Skull Mike with about 18 million, 18 big blinds. But Eric
Why? Just go to Florida.
is the chip leader right now. 47 million in chips.
I don't know. Florida just doesn't seem as appealing for some reason.
Rick flying solo in there?
No, he's got Bones in there or Jay Wynn.
Nice.
And Eric can just jam this one. He can also mid-raise and call off a shove.
All in.
All in from Eric. Skull with just 4 deuce in the big blind. Wave goodbye to his big blind and Annie. And Eric will take those chips and add to his stack.
And again, there's a 9K pay jump for the next person between the next 2 people to bust. So.
Yeah, it's really 10K for 7th place, 37,300, and 6th place, 47,600. There's the beautiful trophy that would look good on anybody's desk or credenza.
If you won, would you bring it in here or would you take it home?
I would leave it here and look at it every time I'm commentating. Bones, I don't think I'm winning a trophy in a tournament. I'm just going to call that shot.
They give a lot of trophies out here.
They do, but...
Why not? Why not you? Why not Slick Rick?
Why
Someone's got to
not?
win.
I have won a tournament before, but I'm just... There's too many great tournament players. I'm trying to absorb the knowledge from you and Andrew and Jaywin.
It's a process.
Skull makes the call here in the small blind, and Peter, don't know what his second card is, but he's going to raise here.
Option raises to 4 million.
To 4 million. Skull is going to give him 1 million chips, 500 extra than he needed to.
Peter's starting to separate himself a bit from the second tier here.
So Kevin, I heard you're dealing us to the end, right?
Eric, 50 big blinds. You see Nicholas, Skull, and Joel.
It's awesome.
In the bottom part
show at MSG a few years
of that graph.
It's one of those things where it's different in person.
I don't even really follow it anymore. It's like live events.
Me and my buddy were walking past the garden to go get dinner a couple hours before the show, and I hear all these people start yelling and screaming. I'm like, what's the ruckus about? And I brush shoulder to shoulder with the Hardy Boys.
It's all in.
All in with the Ducks from Joel.
Those moments where I walk by, I'm like, was that the Hardy Boys?
How much is it?
It is 9.6 million.
And Peter, he's going to get called here.
Should have a pretty big flip here. If Joe wins this, he is back in business.
There's the call. Or does he? Yes, he just makes the call.
I do have a third player in. You do have to put the...
Yeah, he's got to put the correct amount of chips. There's another player there. So he's going to call.
8.
And Joseph wakes up with crabs. Never a fun thing to do.
Have you ever woken up with crabs?
Never.
That's probably good.
Almost ripped it.
You're good now.
All right. We got, what do they call it? A race. The Ducks versus Ace Queen for 21 million chips.
You called off most of your stack with Ace Queen off?
I'm a sicko, what can I say? Look,
enough.
look, this is...
That's true. Forgot where you're from. Oh,
Wow.
I wanted to so bad.
Joseph
My hands are
giving Peter a little hell.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you have 10s?
I had a
Like
baby
4s?
pair.
Peter looking for an ace or a queen.
Great news for Joel to get called by the ace queen and have the 3s fold. A lot of outs.
King now in play. Ace, queen, king. Not a jack. And Joel, all of a sudden, he had 5 million chips 4 hands ago. And now he's got 21 million. And he can take his seat among the middle of the pack.
Everything living in his beard is throwing a party right now.
Thanks, Ken.
2 families live in his beard. As we're going to change dealers as we do, let's hear from our stream sponsor, Fume. Yeah, there are better ways to kick that habit. All natural botanicals, real flavor, and real satisfaction. Fume is designed for fidgeting and getting your fix the healthy way. No toxic ingredients, no electronics. Just pure habit-changing flavors. Visit tryfume.com/lodge with the code LODGE and pick up your good habit today. Fume, no tobacco, no vape, no smoke. It's flavored air. If you want to get rid of that bad habit,
And then if you knock
try
both of those
Fume.
out, then I still take a pay jump.
Very cool product.
Or actually, I'm not at risk of going out. So if you beat both of
Yeah,
us,
yeah. Flat seems sketchy. Seemed a little shady. I was like, might be trying to trap here.
In the small blind, Joseph comes along with 6-4. And how about an open ender for Joel? Joel may be on a little heater. There's the jack. But it's Joseph who's going to fire out half-size pot bet there, 3 million chips. And a quick call from the bearded wonder.
Have a pair.
And Joel adds some more chips. Bones, he was literally at 5 million chips an orbit ago, and now he's at 28 million chips.
You nodded your head like when I said I have a pair. You nodded your head. I thought that meant, yeah, you're good.
No. Yeah, that's cool.
Fuck your pair. Your trash out of here. That's it.
Thank you.
Joel, second in chips now.
Tournaments are so much about being patient too. You know, you have 5 big blinds and you're saying, I gotta shove. Just patience.
And not just second in chips, but he has position on the chip leader, which will become very important as they get down to 6, 5, and 4-handed.
it's all right. Next time you'll jam over the top of me, and I'll call and just beat.
And then you'll get there.
Yeah. That was a 6 chance more than any ace, any king, any queen, or any 7.
But that's been my whole tournament. I've been winning pots, but it's like I'm dodging half the deck to win them. Yeah, like I said, your flat.
Skull's been a bit card dead in the last 45 minutes or so.
I leveled myself into thinking your flat was super strong.
I mean, most of the time it is.
It's like, oh man, he's just sitting there dying for me to jam.
That was pretty indifferent.
Expect a jam here from Nicholas. He's very happy to be all in with this hand.
The final table of the Mega Monster. Mega Monster will be back, folks. If you didn't get a chance to play, or if you did get a chance and you want another chance, sometime next August, we will run this back, the Mega Monster. So many tournaments on the horizon.
I'm like just going.
You know what I'm going to do, Rick?
What's that?
I'm going to get on Amazon.
Yeah?
I'm going to buy myself a 2025 calendar.
Yes?
I don't even know if they're on sale yet, but I'm going to look for one.
Yes?
Then I'm going to mark the day.
There you go.
Don't even have the day. I'm just going to mark August. Next August, Monster, $400 tournament.
You're in.
First thing I'm penciling in.
You're in. I mean, the Lodge has kicked up the tournament game. It's such a great place to play tournaments.
Okay, maybe I was wrong about the card reader error before. Joseph likes the low cards.
Joseph calls. He called with 4-3 offsuit. Now he's calling with deuce 3 suited.
The 6-4 earlier. He likes the low cards. I get it.
You never see them coming when they hit.
I won't tell your poker coach that you just said that.
Poker coach? Hearts may be coming.
Well, there's nobody else that really has anything here. Joel has the bad end of a gutter. He's going to fire. Let's see what Joseph does here. And Joseph really just has to bluff here with the nut low.
$5 million.
And take it down. So there you go.
That's how you do it. Yo diggity. And the blinds are about to go up here. Seven players remain. Don't know how long we'll go tonight, but we will be here until it's finished.
All in.
How much?
$13.6 or something.
Evan with the jam here for 13 bigs.
Nice.
And we're headed to the next hand, hand number 82. I got a very special guest after this hand that we're going to introduce you to. I feel so honored in the bunker right now. There are legends all around me, behind me, next to me, everywhere. Eric, with all the chips in the world, with 9-4 suited, is going to raise to 2.5 million. Skull Mike just not finding cards this orbit. In the small blind, going to lay it down. And Eric picking up chips in the street into the bunker. A man who we see constantly on Lodge live streams, who finished an incredible deep run in the World Series of Poker main event. None other than Jwin.
Hello, hello, hello.
Jwin, what number did you finish in the World Series main event?
206, I believe.
206. Yeah. What an amazing run. You high and Mixon, all deep runs.
Yeah, I think Austin as a city did really well combined. We might have broken even.
So Jaywin, we're watching the Mega Monster final table. Skull Mike as Nicholas picks up the bullets.
Hello.
2.5 million. Does anybody have anything to make the call? Skull Mike on the button. And nobody has anything.
Joseph does have a deuce in his hand, so he may want to play.
Yeah, Joseph does make the call with the big blind. It goes check, check.
Yeah. I like the check from Nicholas a lot. He's just ahead of way too much. SPR is pretty low. He doesn't have to bet the flop.
Do you like that check? At some point, you're going to have to put some money in the pot, right? Or chips in the pot, not money. He's going to fire out
Necessary, sir.
3 million chips, and Joseph is going to say, I was kidding. So
Nice
tell,
time to get aces, though.
tell us about the experience. How many days does it take to finish 206th?
I was eliminated on day 5, which
Day
was
five.
which was a shame because I didn't play very well on day 5. But with that being said, just so grateful for the experience, and ever since being back, yeah, I've just spent a lot more time looking into tournament stuff, and hopefully next year we can try to do it again. And
You're one of those players like Bones who plays both cash and tournaments. So many players specialize in one or the other.
yeah, I try not to lose too much in one area, So when that happens, I like to switch sports.
We're calling it a sport.
Calling it the sport.
Two different.
I mean, breakdancing is in the Olympics now.
Yeah, I guess
so,
that's true.
Yeah.
We talked about that last night.
Yeah.
With,
Miss Australia, or
well, breakdancing as an Olympic event.
Jay, you're from New York. What's your breakdancing background like?
I did it for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. 0 injuries and 0 trophies.
Joseph flops top pair here. Yeah, we talked about that one event, the speed wall climbing, where it took like 4 seconds to get up the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that event? That was crazy.
No.
There's the call. Nicholas with just king high. Is he going to wave the white flag, or is he going to try for this?
I would expect him to try to a little bluff here. I wouldn't.
Yeah, only because Joseph had that small stab on the turn.
He does not.
But, Joseph might have missed out on a lot of opportunity there, flopping top pair.
In the bunker with Jaywin and Bones. Last night, Andrew Tran helped me navigate these tournament streets. We like to have 2 people in the bunker during tournaments because not much is said on the table.
Not in tournaments.
Yeah. Cash games, we like to hear the table.
I like the intensity of tournaments, It's like way different than cash, because cash you always have this like, not burden, but a little bit of pressure to be social and to interact and keep the table energy up. Tournaments is like the complete opposite,
That's kind of what we were talking about earlier, where you play a tournament, like everybody's trying to win the tournament.
Yeah.
And, when you play
Yeah.
cash, people are, trying to have fun, gamble, splash around, whatever.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
like, from the time you sign up for the tournament, especially on day 3, like, your job is to win the tournament.
Yep.
There's
Yeah.
there's no pretense that there's anything but that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anastasia and final table Kev, our dealers, doing a fine job. Safi, our game host.
Gosh, Eric is in such a great position, huh? I assume he's able to just raise really wide and punish everyone trying to ladder up.
The final two tables, he was definitely putting a lot of pressure on. He hasn't really had the cards to do it so far this one, but the stacks are lined up for him to just really be in a great spot.
Yeah. I saw the 9-4 suited earlier. Is it 2 tables or we're consolidated to 1 now?
No, we're final table. 7 players remain.
FT, baby.
Yeah. And Eric has been here before. I mean, I've seen him plenty around town, around the state even.
Yeah, Eric came to the table second in chips, 22 million. He came into day 3. I mean, he's got 160,000 in Hin and Mob earnings.
How much?
160.
Yeah, he has more experience than that number would indicate. So.
Yeah, I feel like I see him at just about all the lodge tournaments.
Yeah.
I've always thought he played quite well.
Mm-hmm. Any interesting profiles on the table today?
Yeah, the 1 seed is a pretty cool guy. Skull Mike.
I heard of him.
Joel, got a family of 4 living in the beard. Joel with the jacks. He had 5 big blinds less than an hour ago.
Got a really easy jam here.
Joel's a champion.
Just takes a stack of million chips. Puts it in there. So, Jaywin, overall, how much time were you out in Vegas?
I was out in Vegas for, I think, 6 days. I was ecstatic to cancel my original flight home.
Yes.
And I was able to stay a couple extra days, and it was nice.
Very nice. Did you and Mixon and High get a chance to eat some dinners together?
Yeah, we did. We ate dinner almost every night together.
Nice.
I stayed with High in the back half of my Vegas trip there. High is funny, man. I'm exhausted every single day at the end of the tournament, and High just texts with a beer emoji. I'm like, sure.
I mean,
I'll see you at the bar.
As an animal.
He's one of those guys that you strive to be like, because when he loses a pot, a big pot, maybe even takes a bad beat, just doesn't say anything. Just a smile, you know? It's no big deal.
Just a laugh, yeah.
Yeah, he hides it better than I do. He takes it better than I do. He hides it better than I do.
We strive to be like High. Skull with Queen 8 here in the big blind.
First under the gun, this is just not going to be a defend. Although he is kind of dwindling down. He still has some hope for outlasting Nicholas. But against under the gun, you just don't want to have those kind of trashy offsuit hands.
Big jump between the next elimination?
10K, I believe? Or did we pass that one?
You know, might be the highest ROI of a 1 hour.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. Just, you make money just folding.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at Joel. He was patient, didn't push anything, and then ran, 5 million up to 25.
Love it. Joel's not the guy you want with the chips. It's going to be very hard to get it back from him.
Joel, about 250,000 in Hin and Mob earnings. Had a nice hit here at the lodge a few months ago.
This is a tough spot for Joel. Again, he just really doesn't want to play a pot with Eric. And it looks like he's going to go with a small 3-bet.
$6.5 million from Joel. Everybody with diamonds.
Yeah. Good for him. This is a much better hand to 3-bet than call with. Again, at final tables, in theory, you're not going to have many cold calls. Very nice pickup for Joel.
And he's got 31 million chips.
And it also shows Eric that Joel is willing to put in some chips, so he can't just open, any two. I mean, he opened 7 deuce there.
Yeah.
So, you 3-bet him once or twice, and he gets the hint that he can't just, open with impunity, which is, pretty important at a final table.
Yeah.
2,700 plus watching right now. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, we ask you to do so. 193,000 subscribers on our race to 200,000. I jumped out of an airplane to celebrate 150,000. What are we going to do at 200,000?
I suggested it yesterday in chat. Bungee jump off the 360 bridge.
Yes. Yeah. Bungee jumping scares me more than skydiving.
Well, yeah, it's a rubber band put together by Carney. Of course it's going to scare you.
Oh, my goodness.
No offense to the bungee jumper engineers out there, but I mean, come on. A rubber band to a bridge.
Joseph in the big blind.
He's got a 3 in his hand, so he's in there.
Gonna defend here. There's the king. Both players hit a piece of this flop.
I expect Eric to make a small c-bet here with pretty much his whole range. If he was going to check, this would be one of the primary hands he would check. But just betting your whole range here is fine, especially under these ICM conditions.
$6 million.
6 million is the bet. Eric says, I got 2 pair too.
Nice roll.
There's a good lay down.
Yep.
And we'll
Joseph's chipping up again.
Go to hand number 91. See Nicholas now. Nicholas and Skull Mike. Skull Mike now below 10 big blinds. Good shot of Skull.
Are a lot of Joseph's hands going to showdown? Like, does the table know that he's playing fairly wide?
No.
I think the 6-4 off, he flatted from small blind, went to showdown, but the other ones aren't going to showdown.
Yeah.
All in here from Nicholas with
I don't
his
know how much information they're getting from whoever they are. So
about 8 big blinds. Nicholas goes all in with the 6s. Joel, a chance to knock out a player here with ace-10. And he's going to make the call.
Yeah, you still got 2, 3. You got 3 guys lower in chips than yeah.
Nicholas, this is for his tournament life. Joel, how hot is Joel? Let's see if it continues.
the beer's got to be hot.
No emotion. There's a 10 right in the window.
Oh, it's never easy.
6 or an 8 is what Nicholas is looking for.
It's never easy.
6 or an 8, or Nicholas's day is done. And it's
There it is.
over. And Joel, all of a sudden, 44 million chips.
Almost chip leading.
Wow. From worst to first.
Fear the beard.
Fear the beard. I love it. Fear the beard.
I think I'm the big one. I mean, I'm the button.
There you see the stacks, and Nicholas walks out of here believe Nicholas was from Utah with 37,306, and everyone has locked up 47,000. Because we're going to get rid of that chair. Jaywin, I know you've got some chips out on the outer tables, playing a little cash today, but
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever asked you, how'd you get skull? Where'd that come from?
Bought this skull on vacation.
I thought he wasn't going to answer.
Well, they already asked him like earlier, like an hour earlier. Someone asked him.
Next week.
Oh, wow.
Remind me to ask
I
him
used to
again.
use this as a car protector. And there's so many mics in the world, but then people started gifting me these, and I have like 100 of these skull things.
No shit.
Did he say he has 100 skull trinkets?
yes.
I got started buying skull clothing.
There you go.
God, imagine walking into his house for the first time.
But I brought this back today.
You have to.
It's got to be disorienting just walking around looking at skulls all over the place.
You know when you walk into different rooms and there's like beads?
Yeah,
You just walk through
skulls.
bones.
Skulls hanging off of ceiling fans.
Turn into from a gift on vacation.
Right? Just a random stranger?
It was a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a friend.
Down to 6 players.
Did Mike have any skulls on his suit when he got married?
You know, I actually think he wore a tie with a skull on it.
Oh my gosh.
He's into it. He's taken his name, you know.
God bless Nina.
Yes.
Suddenly you're not looking at pay jumps anymore.
Nice change of pace.
Get rid of that chair, Chairmanator. Safi doing her work.
She's got a lot to do, you know. She's got to check people out, take their mics. And Mike's got to find something here pretty soon. This is
6-handed?
Yeah, 6-handed. The blinds come around
No, what do you
very
think?
quick.
Suited king?
I
I think suited Broadway. I mean,
I think that might be the only time that Mike has taken less time than I thought he should have on a spot.
I think he's probably eyeballing Evan, huh?
Yeah. I it's reasonably close, I think.
Yeah.
And now we see with Joel chipping up, he needs to play a bit more passive, out of position versus Joel. Yeah, Eric needs to play a bit more passive, out of position versus Joel, whereas he was playing razor fold previously from the small blind.
I mean, Eric and Joel should probably not see them tangle.
Yeah. That's kind of how these when you have two big stacks at the final table, they're basically very heavily incentivized to not play big pots against each other and just wait for the others to bust.
Mm-hmm. Almost like taking turns being the aggressor.
Right.
You know?
Aces again for Evan. He's had them once before tonight. Will anybody find the call? He's just going to flat here. And Joel with the nines.
Yeah, I've made this mistake a long time ago. A while ago, but almost the same exact predicament. Where money really mattered. But he does get it in, though. He does get someone to raise.
Yeah, I mean, nines is just like, and keep in mind that, I guess you weren't here for it, but Evan, first hand of final table, Evan limped king 10 off under the gun. So he's been limping quite a bit. He limped queen jack off on the button. So like he has limping range.
Evan a chance to double up here. Joel hits the boat on the flop.
Wow.
Who's hotter than Joel?
Didn't they have, wasn't it nines versus
Yes.
aces? Wow.
He's done that twice today.
It's Evan as well.
Evan's going to have a nightmare.
Heartbreaker.
Ace from space. does not come.
Wow.
And Evan is eliminated with aces.
Take care.
Play well.
Thank you, man.
Good game, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man.
Good game.
Take care, bro.
Yeah.
Holy moly, let's go back. I want to see. Evan had
What the fuck,
the same exact hand.
Assuming I'm allowed
Evan
to
had
play
aces versus Joel's pocket nines in hand 66.
what'd you do?
And 28 hands later, the same exact thing happened.
Joe,
He knew it too. He knew it too.
We need to get you a
the
wizard
nines.
hat, dude.
That is
So we're down to 5.
It was.
Ooh. The next jump is
two hands.
19 grand.
Yeah. So everybody's locked up
I'm in the small, right?
60,000,
First act.
Big.
$325.
What do you guys think, chat? Skull Mike spins it up. 7 mil. Do we get a double up here?
Skull, by far and away, he's got about 5 big blinds. Oh my goodness. 2 times. Nines, crack aces. The same 2 players. Oh, that's nightmare.
Good fold by Mike there with no fold equity.
Telling you right now, 9 comes on this flop. I'm insta-mucking. I'll take the penalty.
Joel gets to really put a lot of pressure on Joseph here. I think this is a hand that primarily wants to call. Occasionally you can raise. And raising again allows him to put pressure on Joseph with Mike being so short. Sorry, his chip stack being so short. I didn't mean to make a short joke there about Mike.
Where's your soundboard when we need it?
Oh, they took it away, Rick.
There goes a small raise you mentioned. Good call,
Yeah.
Bones.
And again,
This is really him just saying, like, hey, you don't get to have the betting lead.
yeah. And Joseph should be playing very passive on these boards anyway, out of position versus a button call.
Oh, man.
Okay.
There it is.
Well, at least we don't have to snap muck anymore. It's on the turn.
I can't do anything but check a 9.
8.
I'm pretty sure I just saw Joel smile a little bit. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, they have some sort of inside joke going on about nines or queens or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
This is just a really tough spot for Joseph.
Yeah.
And
And Joe's never betting the turn not to follow through on river here, right?
I don't think that so his river bet's going to be
Yeah.
something really committing.
Yeah.
Is his range strong
But
enough?
He raised the flop. You have bottom pair. What do you think Joseph's calling with?
Is he going to fold king queen?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess, what is he trying to fold here, if you were Joel?
king queen would be my focus.
Yeah.
If I thought I could get king queen to fold, I would bluff.
Yeah,
I would
so
expect.
do you ever give up though? I mean,
I would expect to shed a lot of these non-king queen hands on the turn. King
Yeah.
queen, ace queen. I would expect
Yeah,
this
'cause
hand
like-
particularly to fold. I would expect this to fold on the flop. But the problem is like running it here.
Yeah.
Like if you miss, you kind of have really. I don't know how to say this. Shot your load, so to speak, and you're really in a bad spot in the tournament. But you know, you can just spin it up again.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I would be trying to decide if I could get king, queen, king, jack. Ace, king, I would not expect to fold, even though it doesn't matter all that much.
yeah.
I think people just get emotionally attached to ace, king. Wouldn't expect aces to fold. Would have expected
Yes, that
queens through tens to fold. Maybe not tens. Queens through queens jacks to fold. Would certainly not expect him to have 10-9. He
Yeah.
might have 9-8. Maybe target that. It looks like he's gonna. Is he doing the thing where he, you just don't want the guy to bet, so you pretend like you're cutting out a bet, trying to get the showdown.
Final table. You
Yeah.
got to pull out all the tricks.
Yeah. He checked it. Oh, wow, he put him in.
Oof.
Wow, great job by Joel there.
Very
Outstanding
nice.
play.
Yeah, I just don't like Joseph even trying to win that pot. He just has such a clear path to making another $19,000.
Yeah. I'm very surprised he floated the flop raise.
The flop raise, yeah.
Yeah. In position, I can kind of see it, and maybe without these ICM conditions.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of, yeah, it's a tough spot. And, in fairness to him, he's fighting for pots.
Yeah.
Maybe he has some sort of read on Joel where he didn't think he had much.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, it's hard to discount
Yeah.
that kind of stuff when just talking about theory.
For sure.
And then
He,
maybe,
he just seems like a competitor, right?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I really want to win.
yeah, I get it.
In
For sure.
a little over an hour, Joel went from 5 million chips to over 72 million chips in a little over an hour.
This is the kind of
Alright,
stuff you
Mike.
dream about.
There's not much you can do here. Is this it, Bones? Or do you think he can wait a couple more hands?
I think he can wait.
Yeah?
It's never getting through. And it doesn't do that great against an opening range.
Yeah.
All in.
All in.
But,
This is for Skull's tournament life.
I mean, he kind of knows where he's at. Like, he kind of...
Yeah.
At least he's hoping for, anyway.
Yeah.
He's
and
hoping
this
for like a
isn't the end of the world
55,
either.
45. Yep.
Yeah, it's fine.
And Joel's certainly going to make the call with ace-9 and the hottest man on the planet, Earth. This is for Skull's tournament life.
Look, Mike.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. And, if he doesn't take this, the blinds come around and he just completely
Right.
loses full
Yeah.
equity. So
Right. Like, is he going to get better than 2 Broadway cards
it's tough.
in
yeah.
3 hands?
There's an ace
All right.
right in the window. Skull does hit his jack, looking for a queen or a jack. This is where Skull does his magic.
Oh.
Does not come. And that's it for Skull Mike.
I mean, he's going to be disappointed, but that's a hell of a ladder to get up to 5th place.
Oh, yeah.
From
Skull did so well the last. I mean, when I started tuning in, there was, I think it was 14 people. It was 7-7, right?
Yeah, and he was really
Yeah,
short
he
then.
was-
Skull Mike,
Great job.
my good friend and partner, is going to walk
Really
out of
nice
here
work.
with 60,325.
Yeah, hell of a run.
What a run.
Normally, this is where chop conversations start to come into play, but
And we're down to 4.
there's much of a conversation.
Next pay jump is 79,000. And Joel is a one-man wrecking crew. He's got half the chips.
We'll chop half.
Yeah,
I'm playing
last two might make sense.
Good luck, everybody.
And Eric went from having the best seat at the table to having the worst seat at the table.
Yeah. Wow. You know, these Final Four, at least the little bit that I've seen from Joseph, it's probably going to be really fun to watch how Joseph navigates.
Yeah, he's definitely
Right.
mixing it up.
He's not scared. And especially now his back is against the wall. He's just going to play pretty free and
Yeah.
pretty accepting of whatever the outcome is. But
Although
it'll be fun to see what he does.
to be fair, there's a
Ace queen
what is
from
that?
now on, forever and ever.
21, 40K pay jump from
Yeah.
4 to 3, with both of them having
Pretty standard spot.
12 to 15-ish bigs.
Yeah.
I mean, battling is one thing, but 40K for outlasting someone is
Yep.
that's something nice.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
What a pleasure it is to have two legends of the game, Jaywin and Bones, sitting in the bunker with me. This mega monster. You guys are good. You guys are good stuff.
So far.
Both of us wishing we were there. Absolutely.
I went over 3.
What's the most bullets you've ever fired in a tournament, regardless of what it was. Now, don't count the free rolls that we have here. Yeah, a real tournament, 200 or higher.
They could be heads-up masters and just like duke it out for.
I've been over 10.
3 or 4.
That's it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. I guess that's what having a family does.
Well, usually the third bullet takes me to where I need to go. That's the reason why.
I forgot. Yeah, I don't have that sort of skill level. You can't find me on pokercoaching.com.
All in for Joseph. Peter with ace-7 has Joseph covered by a few million.
Yeah, I think I was definitely in for 6K in one of those monsters that they used to run.
Got to finish 5th just to break even?
Yeah, I did not finish 5th. So obviously, ace-7, I don't want to say obviously, but like, it's not ideal. But if you're ever going to call this shove, Joseph is going to be the one that you want to call the shove from because you benefit so much from winning that pot against him. If, say, Joel shoved, the ranges will be a bit different, but doubling through Joel doesn't do nearly what doubling through Joseph does for you. So that's really Peter's main concern is like, if I call here and win, like I get the 40K pay jump. Whereas if you call Eric's jam or whatever, you don't get that jump. This is still a rough spot, though. Cutoff jam for 12.
There's the fold.
Yeah, good fold.
Wasn't feeling it.
I know you're a feel it kind of guy with your manifestations and whatnot.
Yeah.
How often is
Are you not?
I'm decidedly not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm old school, you know.
Yeah. Well, lately I've been more religious.
Yeah, oh, that's good. It's good to see you get a hobby. How often would you say like feeling it comes into play with your decision making? And I don't just mean like I've seen a bunch of 7s on the board, so I'm gonna call it a 7 in my hand, but just like just I feel like I'm doing this
a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
A little bit. It's like you keep seeing the queen pop up, you're like, all right, maybe I should start raising a pip wider with my queens.
Yeah, why not?
You want those two? No.
Doyle would agree.
I'll keep one and let you take the other.
4 remain. 5,462 entries. I was one of those entries. How many of you in chat played in this tournament, the Mega Monster? I know the 3 of us did. Sounds like Bones finished the best out of the 3 of us. You know what was funny about your main event run, Xuan Liu and Mixon and High? 2 days after he finished 72nd in the main event, Mixon Poker was playing the free roll here at the Lodge. Who loves it more?
Nobody loves that free roll more than Mixon.
All in here from Joseph.
For 15. Yeah, I think Eric's going to fold this one.
Yeah. Eric's at a pretty handcuffed spot,
Yeah, he really
Like,
wants
he's
to
not gonna
maintain his lead over Joseph and Peter.
Absolutely.
And he can't get too loose with Joel because Joel has him covered by so much that he can just really put a lot of pressure on him.
Right.
So Eric is just kind of, unfortunately, stuck kind of waiting this out.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, Eric is really hoping that Joel will be table captain for him.
Yes, absolutely. He doesn't mind if Joel just busts the next 2, and then he goes down 4-1 or 3-1 or whatever it is.
So Eric is like at 30-something bigs.
All in from Joseph with the tanks.
That's pretty quick.
Joseph had tanks on hand number 64, and he gets them again on hand number 102. He'll take that one down.
I know it feels good to get all the blinds, but, you know, at this stage, there's 20 bigs. He had about 20 bigs.
Show for 21 at 1.2.
Yeah. You really want to play a little bit of poker with a hand as good as that in position.
Yeah, I think your jams
So-
there want to be like small pairs.
Suited aces.
Suited aces.
The ones that don't want to play post flop.
Right.
Like ace-6, ace-5, ace-4.
You can also do that with the offsuit aces too, because they suffer so much from post flop playability when big blind defends.
But, you know, 10s is just really, really good.
You're fine inducing jams there
Yeah.
from, like Eric may have 3-bet with ace-7 off there.
Yeah, yeah.
Peter defends here. And there's the king.
Peter does flop a flush draw though. He's had some very unorthodox leads so far. Whoa, oh. Okay.
All in. And Eric.
I don't think Eric is going to fold here ever.
Yeah, you would expect him to,
I mean,
like check raise his flush draws.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Going to ask for a count.
Or even with his already made hands, small donk and then jam turn. But you don't expect him to just put in the whole thing. So I think Eric is going to feel that out.
A third of his chips if he makes the call.
Peter's somehow going to have 38% equity here when called. But this is very confusing, having someone shove for 2x pot.
And you hear the clock. Blinds will be going up after this hand.
Real tough spot here for Eric.
Sometimes when I'm all in with the bluff and I'm afraid that my opponent will call, I at least enjoy the fact that my opponent looks squirmish and I get to watch him suffer a little. Oh! It's not that
There's
long.
the call. And this is for Peter's tournament life.
Wow. So
He's
much equity, though.
Yeah.
looking for a heart or running straight cards.
Unless the board pairs. He's not going to want to see the board pair. He's going to lose a few more outs, but...
There's the heart.
One more heart.
Wow.
Don't say that. No, I didn't think of that.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. He gets counterfeited, too, all the time.
Peter.
Wasn't that Doyle Brunson that said if you can't find a door, come in through the window or something like that?
Wow. And all of a sudden, Peter
I don't think that's what Doyle was talking about.
has 32 million chips. He's second in chips. And Eric, who's really been around the chip leader since we started today, either first or second in chips all through the stream, is now third in chips out of 4 players.
I mean, give Peter credit for getting out there and bluffing. And if Eric had flop top pair, then probably just folds.
Yeah.
But he had the emergency deuce of hearts.
Sick move.
I would really like to know what Eric is thinking right now.
Oh, Joe must be loving this, too. What a spot.
Speaking of Eric, God, if that was Efan, I would have really enjoyed the next 5 minutes. Not that I want to see Efan lose, but just the reaction and the speech.
Yeah.
Can we call the floor?
Unbelievable.
Fucking unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You jam with that?
So I believe somebody just asked for the floor. Don't know what happened here, but I think it might have been
Totally forgot about
Eric.
this. But are we still doing the half ante for four once we reach forehand?
Oh, no, we didn't, there's no reducing. After TDA,
Yeah.
there's no more reducing, and we play ante all the way through, even when you get the heads up.
All right.
All right?
So what Eric's asking is, in lodge tournaments up until about a month ago, when we got down to 4, we reduced the big blind ante, and we cut it in half. And when we got down to heads up, we eliminated it entirely. But that has changed as of about a month ago. We are not reducing the big blind ante.
You're big mind. Like, well, I'm not going to say anything while they're paying it.
Is there anything behind those reds? I can't see.
You talking to me or him?
You.
Oh.
Okay.
Pretty big open here from Joel.
Yeah.
See if he finds the 3-bet. Just a call.
You think Joel sticks with these larger open sizes?
This is the first I've seen him use this sizing.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought this. They said the blinds were going up, or was that?
Yeah, they should have gone up.
That would,
and I think they did. The
That would make
graphics
more
may not
sense.
be. The graphics may not be fixed yet.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
Okay, so maybe is the ante is 1.5 million, perhaps.
Yeah.
Then a 3.5 makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, or just 816.
Yep.
Oh wow, Eric, squeeze. See, so if it's 16, he squeezed off of 15. I like it. Maybe Joseph's kid was born on June 4th or April 6th.
Or the man is action.
Always possible, I guess. Always possible.
4 players remain. 4th place gets paid $79,375. Third, $118,269. Second place, $165,895. And first place, $302,237. And a trophy.
Is Joseph from New York? Does anybody know?
Joseph is from the Austin area. He is originally from New York. Your neck of the woods.
My neck of the woods. That's right.
You're from Brooklyn?
Bronx.
The Bronx. I was in the Bronx 2 weeks ago.
Yeah?
Yankees game.
Wow. I went to high school. We used to get off the Yankee Stadium, and then I would walk to school. Good times.
Do you have a pair of Timbs?
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Big slick suited for Joseph. Some decent cards. And he hits top.
All in.
He wants to shut it down right there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Joseph could have. There's going to be pots where he's essentially going to have a hand that's going to want to get it all in. But by betting like 1.5 big blind or something like that, you can sometimes get someone to check raise you, especially on a dry flop like King 3 deuce. You can get someone to check raise you to 4 or 5 bigs, and but no, we get it though. I've been there, and the pressure and
Protect
the
your stack.
heartbeat, and yeah, the only thing you're thinking about is winning the hand, not necessarily how profitable you can be in the spot.
Interesting that
I totally
Joel
get it.
chooses the limp here. I think I'd be raising pretty high frequency with these stacks. But limp is fine too. I mean, he's got a suited king. It plays very well post flop.
Top pair for Peter. Joe with 74 million of the 162 million chips in play.
These guys have all battled. I mean, it's definitely props to them. It's very easy to kind of, you know, get worn down or
12 hours a day? Was day 2 12 hours?
13, I believe.
Jeez.
Including breaks, but yeah, 13 hours.
Oh,
from
it
start to
gets
finish.
exhausting for sure.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to sleep after a tournament.
Yeah, we were talking about that
Yeah.
earlier. It's, you just have so much adrenaline and
Yep.
and then you have tomorrow to look forward to. It's very tough. How did you manage that during your WSOP run?
I chatted with Mixon until 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah?
And then we said, hey, we should probably go to sleep now.
You guys just talk about barbecue and shit?
I'm like on Twitter with Mixon, I'm like, man, I think we really need to go to bed.
Yeah.
I could not sleep. I would just roll around in bed for like hours.
Going to have a new dealer coming in as Final Table Kev went to Monday Night Raw, the wrestling down at downtown Austin. And Lisa's going to come in, and while she's getting her deck prepared, let's hear from our stream sponsor, Fume. Meet Fume, an award-winning flavored air device. Fume is not a vape, there's no nicotine, and it's not addictive. Fume is a guilt-free alternative. It fills the void a bad habit can leave with tasty, non-toxic flavors and no vapor, so you can use it anywhere. Become the next Fume success story. Head to tryfume.com and use code LODGE or scan the QR code to get your free Fume base when you order the Journey Pack today. Fume, no nicotine, no smoke, just flavored air. If you want to try to quit your smoke or vape habit, try Fume. Cool little product, very well designed and tons of different flavors.
What's your favorite flavor, Rick?
You know, I was looking at I think they had a grapefruit flavor that it was very refreshing.
It's an interesting spot here for Eric. They're about 15 effective. Suited hand, you probably want to defend. We've got some even stacks other than Joel.
Yeah, blinds are now 1 million, 1.5 million, and a 1.5 million big blind ante every orbit. 4 million of your chips in play. You see 21, 20, and 19 big blinds for second, third, and fourth, and 50 big blinds for first right now, the leader.
Who's chat rooting for?
Yeah.
We got a couple of locals from Austin, but chat's all over the world.
So I want to
Here's
say,
the tricky part, is that nobody likes a Yankees fan. Other than Yankees fans.
I think
exactly.
the Yankees are great.
I must say, wasn't
And he's action.
I was expecting a lot going into Yankee Stadium for the first time ever, but I guess the new Yankee Stadium looks just like any other ballpark USA. It doesn't have the, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just something was missing. I was expecting much more.
Yeah.
Like you walk into Fenway, you know you're at Fenway. If you walk into Yankee Stadium, other than the awnings that they have around this, you wouldn't know you were at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Well, when I was a teenager and I went to high school, the Yankees were winning championships every other year.
Yeah. Aces for Joseph. We've seen aces get cracked over and over today. Evan knows all about that.
All in.
All in. Oh, my goodness.
I almost threw that.
This is for Peter's tournament life.
Wow.
In deep trouble.
Two of them,
Joseph couldn't call fast enough. For $56.9 million.
Dead.
All right, how much you got?
It's over. Peter is done.
Wow.
And Peter from San Antonio.
Great run for Peter.
Great run. Finishes in 4th place for $79,375. And look at Joseph. 59 million chips now.
When was the last time someone in a Yankees jersey saw a trophy? It's been decades.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, Peter's not going to feel so good, but hopefully within an hour he'll realize that he did a hell of a job to get to the 4th place.
Yeah. That 80K will lift his spirits a bit.
For sure.
Very good game.
Great run. Peter from San Antonio, Texas, wearing his Rounders hoodie, which Rounders is now Lodge Card Club in San Antonio. Check them out down there off of Wurzbach. I was down there a week and a half, 2 weeks ago for the meetup game. What a place it is. Lodge Card Club San Antonio. Speaking of Lodge Card Club San Antonio, free time from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. every single day of the week, and you even get free breakfast at 10:30. Free time meaning no hourly rate. That's every day of the week in San Antonio. How about in Austin? Austin's free time a little different, just during the week, weekdays from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. every weekday. Play cash games with no hourly seat rental fee.
Do they have a chapter of the Slick Rick fan club down in San Antonio yet?
Of course.
Okay.
Slick Rick Fan Club is worldwide. Do want to also mention what's going on at Lodge Card Club, the Lodge Mahal. Both clubs have a Lodge bad beat. Right now it's at $114,764. It goes up $1,000 every single day. Everybody who's playing cash right now, not these players, they're playing tournaments, but everybody playing cash is eligible to receive a share if it hits in either club of $200 to every player who's playing at that time. And then the remaining out of that prize pool goes to the winner and loser of the hand, and then the table share. So imagine if that gets up to 250, 300,000.
I'd expect this to be a jam. Joel has a reasonable hand to call it off with here.
All in?
All in from Eric.
18 bigs.
Joel asking for a count.
Let's see.
And 19 bigs.
20, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29. 29 million.
Nice fold.
No, but of course.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it left?
He's trying to decide if Eric is jamming those small suited aces,
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
small pairs, if he has a non-all-in size for his bigger hands. But he ends up making the right decision. What do you think, Jay, about having a non-all-in size there for 19?
I know with your ace kings, you can go with the smaller size and just play post flop and just know that even if you break on the flop, you're still down like 24, 25% equity. You could just still go on, but
Yeah, I think you actually want to do those with like your aces, kings, and like some of your
Yeah.
ace X and king X.
But playing post flop with ace queen.
Yeah, well, I think in theory is that you don't get flatted all that often.
Yeah.
But I haven't messed around with it too much. But I know that there's a lot of
Yeah.
strong players who have small three bets there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to implement. But I think
sure,
ace king is
yeah.
also fine. Back in
Yeah.
my younger days playing sit and goes, I used to have a strategy where I would three bet to enough that would be like pot left on flop, and I would just go all in on every flop.
Yeah.
It was a very rudimentary
Yeah.
pre-solver thing, but
Yeah.
it worked for me at the time. I'd imagine there's better strategies now.
That is 6 million. More.
Ooh.
That was very nice. And then there were 5,462 entries. Third place, 118,000. We're into six-figure payouts now.
That is 3, 7.
Joel with the hockey sticks. Makes the call.
Am I the only one that keeps getting messed up when she says call 8? I'm like, wait, I thought it was 3.
There's a set for Joel. Unfortunately, nobody else hits any part of this flop.
2.5.
But Eric's going to make it 2.5. What does Joel do here? Probably just going to flat. He does with the set. And Joel checks again.
I like Joel's line, but
And will Eric fire?
Wow. What a spot.
Joel checks it, and it goes check, check. Joel will not be checking the river.
what was this action? Opening call pre-flop?
Yes, flat call, and then no bet on the turn.
Check call flop, check, check, turn. Yeah, I guess Joe would have expected Eric to continue with his bluffs on the turn, at least the ones with equity.
7 calls.
And we'll go on to hand number 116. Appreciate everybody joining us. Over 3,000 people watching in chat right now. We're on usually 4 times a week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We stream mid-stakes, low-stakes, high-stakes cash games, also tournaments, PLO, even some heads-up matches. I think we're going to even try to do a Big O event. Little trivia, folks. The first ever Lodge live stream was Big O, November 2000.
I wonder if any of the 12 people that watched that are still alive.
Bones, you got to love Bones.
Oh, here's a big spot.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Real hands.
I mean, I think as Eric, you just gotta, with no fold equity here, just hope that they clash. But, you know, King Queen is big hand three-way, three-handed. But
Yeah, you fold and you hope that Joel
Yeah.
call or raise.
just hoping it's a huge cooler.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting spot for Joel. Joseph hasn't really been three-betting light at all, or three-betting in general.
Mm-hmm.
Your hand is good. It plays fine post-flop. You're just going to let it go. Going to avoid playing a big pot
Yeah.
and just try to get heads up.
Joel's probably thinking of all those things, and he knows that he doesn't need to play a big pot to win this whole thing.
Yeah.
Just being very situationally aware.
What's the pay jump here, Rick?
Third is 118,000. Second is 165.
Okay.
And
So
first is 302.
42K. $100 buy-ins.
47,000. from
47,000.
Third
yeah.
to
So, Bones, I tell you that my Sundays are now online MTTs.
Yes, you mentioned that.
It's fantastic, man. I went over 10 last night.
You only played 10 tournaments on a Sunday?
10 bullets, two of which went into the big one from one of the offshore websites.
Oh, gosh.
And it's pretty depressed after it all.
You know NFL's coming up, right? Just enjoy life. Enjoy the Sunday, Jay.
You know.
You take your new hobby, religion. Go do that.
There's trips for Joel
Check 7.
as the betting patterns of preseason pro football have to take a little break here as Joel turns his trips. What a run for Joel.
So is that one of your life goals, is defeat a bunch of bots at online poker?
Oh, that's a whole other conversation. But I'm really enjoying myself, man. It's like, it's kind of like the UFC. You know, you go into a ring, you get punched in the face for a few rounds. That's what
then-
every Sunday is like for me now.
Then you get paid like nothing?
That's right.
I was waiting for that.
But what could have been?
Yeah. Just you still got dreams of being Anderson Silva, but
Yeah. What could have been?
instead you're just giving your money to some bot farm in Latvia.
8 calls and check 1. Okay, that's 1.5, 4 calls.
We'll go to hand number 119. Down to 3. Eric now the short stack. Haven't said that all day. Eric with ace, 6 of clubs.
Seems like a pretty clear jam here. You can also defend, I guess, but yeah, I think with ace 6 off, he preferred a jam than with ace 6 suited.
There's a pair of jacks for Joel,
And
pair for Eric.
this stacked pot ratio, it's going to be tough for Eric to
get out there.
not lose a bunch of chips.
Mm-hmm.
That is 3.5 from 8.
3.5 million is the bet. Eric with just 17 million.
You could probably make a case for jamming here too. If you have so many bad turns. that are going to.
All in.
Count, please.
Joel is going to ask for a count, but with top pair here,
Yeah.
going to be making this call, I would imagine.
Yeah. It's no fun to like get snapped off here, but your hand is just so vulnerable and so likely to be the best hand here. He's got one card to come.
And the 3 will seal it, and Eric will finish in 3rd place. Eric, a fine weekend of poker, will earn $118,269, and we're going to be heads up. And while we get the table situated, we're going to fast forward through the 5 to 8 minutes that it's going to take right now, and you won't even know what happened. And there you go. There is your heads up. Players are in position. Trophy is in position. And we're off. You guys didn't even have to wait any time for that. Blinds are at 1 million, 1.5 million, 1.5 million. Joel and Joseph. Lisa and Anastasia are 2 dealers. How long will this go? We're on hand number 120. Let me see in chat if you can guess the hand that this will all end on. We're on hand number 121.
Maybe it's a TDA thing.
Both these players have locked up $165,895. One of them, the winner, will get $302,237 off a $400 buy-in tournament, the Mega Monster. Thank you all for tuning in today. Well over 3,100 people watching. And we want to thank Jaywin, who stopped by. He's going to go back and place some cash. He had a bunch of chips on the cash table. So Slick Rick and Bones will take you the rest of the way.
Pretty excited to see this heads-up match.
There's the queen for Joel.
Joseph definitely takes some unconventional lines. So we'll see how Joel responds.
Joel top pair and now a flush draw. And Joseph drawn dead.
8.
That is 8 from 7.
Aces for Joseph. Joel doesn't want to crack aces this time. He's done it twice.
We didn't have 9s.
He didn't have 9s. Poor Evan got his aces cracked twice by Joel in about 30 hands. with the same exact hand, aces versus nines.
Raise the 4 from 2. Fold 7.
It'll be interesting seeing this. I'm not sure how much heads-up experience either of these two guys have, but it's definitely a different ballgame than all the other forms of poker.
Fold 7.
Looks like Joel is going to be doing a lot of limping here.
From 2. And a call. That is 5 from 2. Fold 7. Also 2. Check 7.
Pair of 4s on the flop to go along with the queens to pair.
2 bets 15. I mean 7 bets.
So you talk about both players, Bones, not having much experience playing heads up. Strategy playing heads up. Give us some insights.
So you're going to have like 40 to 50% of hands that are decent hands that, you know, you're happy to play, whatever. And then the rest of the strategy is what to do with the other 50%. Right? Or that number could, you know, flex from, you know, 40 to 60%, whatever. We're seeing that Joel is limping the button a lot. Hands like 7-4. Hand like 7-4, if he's playing the hand, it makes me think that he's going to be playing all of his buttons, right? Because this is a prime hand to fold. Seeing that he's deciding to raise some here, I think that he noticed that his first 2 limps got raised, and him making this adjustment is taking away some of his. Pause and watch this hand here.
Yeah. Joel turns trips, and Joseph continues to fire out here with a gut shot possibility. And there's the raise to 12 million. And Joseph quickly calls. No 10.
He can still value bet this.
9.
And a quick fold. And so all of a sudden, Joel has 117 million chips. Joseph, 47 million.
So I think the first adjustment that we're seeing is that Joel's first few limps got raised. So he's deciding that those kind of trashy hands that he was limping previously, trying to play small pots, it's not going to, Joseph's not really going to let him get away with that. So he's going to start raising some of those trashy hands, hoping that Joseph will make some folds or that he can play the hand in position. That would be kind of how I look at the first couple of hands, and as an outsider, try to adjust or see what adjustments they're making. Joseph seems like he's going to be limping some as well. You can play a strategy where you raise probably 80 to 85% of hands.
Right.
To probably min raise with these stacks and then fold the rest. Or you can play a strategy that has some limps where you play 100% of hands or 95% of hands or whatever you want to do. Have some raises, have some limps. Just kind of depends on what you're most comfortable with and how your opponent's going to adjust. With these blinds at 1 million and 1.5 million, there should not really be any button folding because you're getting such a good price. Usually the blinds are essentially 1, 2, like 1 unit, 2 units, but this one is 2 units, 3 units, right? So it's you get that you get a discount for coming in on the small blind that you normally would.
Check 2. Check 7. Check 2. Check 7.
King high.
See, Joel is winning the first few hands of this heads-up match, and already he's got Joseph down to about 26 big blinds. See, Joel's really picking up some momentum here.
Check 7, check 2. Check 7, check 2.
See, Joel being really trappy here.
That is 44.5.
Quick call from Joseph with a pair of 5s, and he is going to be down to 33 million, and it's Joel's.
He's just had the best hand the first several hands of heads up, and you know it's not saying that he's not playing well, but it can be very frustrating when you just get you end up with the worst hand 5 or 6 straight hands. It's not really it can be you're just getting run over, and heads up it's just difficult to win when you don't have the best hand.
And I think I just heard Joseph say, "You want to chop?"
Yeah, I get it.
Oh my goodness! Can't blame the guy for trying. Blinds are up. I believe that we just heard that.
Huge flop for Joseph here.
Little combo draw. Open ender and a flush draw.
Break.
So we will. Players are going to take a break, but we won't. We'll be right back in less than 30 seconds.
All right.
And you didn't have to wait at all when the players went on the break. Down to the final two. 2 J's, Joseph and Joel, on hand number 132. So we'll head on to 134 here. Blinds are 1 million, 2 million, 2 million. Joel with a commanding lead, 3-1 chip lead, 124 million to 40 million. There's the beautiful trophy. One of those two guys is going to win 302,000 plus that trophy. Joseph with some Broadway cards makes the all-in move. Joel here, probably going to fold here on the button. He does, and we'll head to hand number 134. I want to thank everyone for watching today. Over 3,100 people in chat right now. Next stream, I believe, will be Thursday. We'll go Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. Hand number 134. Joel with a pocket pair. And Joseph with an ace. He all in, and let's see if Joel makes the call. He does. And this could be it.
Good luck, man.
Good luck.
This is for Joseph's tournament life. Lisa will get everything situated. And here comes the flop. All hearts. Joseph with the ace of hearts in his hand.
Let's go. Heart, ace.
Joseph needs an ace or a heart. It does not come.
Good game, man.
Good game, bud.
And it's over. Joel will bring home the trophy and $302,000, and Joseph will walk out of here in second place with $165,000, and that by far, he said, was his largest payday ever. And a great, great tournament has just completed on hand number 134. And give me 2 seconds, and we're going to try to get Joseph, through the magic of television, we're going to try to get Joel in here to talk a little bit about the tournament. Joel, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good now.
Joel, what a run. We got to talk about some of the hands, and we see Joel there with Skull Mike, and two hands in particular, got to talk about. Poor Evan wakes up with aces, and you crack him twice in 30 hands with your pocket nines. 2 times you did that to that fella.
Yeah, poor guy. I really just, I ran so well to get, a set or flopping a set just one time on a final table is pretty fortunate. But I had
and then you flopped the boat the other time.
Right,
so.
it was pretty unbelievable.
So that was hand number 94 when you knocked Evan out, but you also did the same exact thing with the same 2 cards on hand number 66. Let's talk about your run, though. You were down the short stack. You had about 5 million chips.
Yeah, I had 5 big blinds at one point. That was my shortest.
Patience. It's all about tournament poker and your patience. You just never seem to get rattled there.
Yeah, it was. I just tried to play snug and just tried to play my best game, and yeah. Luckily, when I thought I was probably going to have to go in with any 2 cards, I looked down, and that was one of the times I had 9s, and that's when I flopped a set of 9s against aces that time. So, just really, really fortunate.
We're talking to Joel, the bearded wonder. Joel, tell us where does this rank in largest paydays for you?
This is my biggest, and my second biggest was last December here for $90K. So this is significantly bigger than that. So it's hasn't really settled in yet, but yeah, definitely my biggest score.
And do you have any plans with the family? You're going to do anything fun with the money? Do something a little fun. Don't say you're going to save it.
No. I'll probably go on a nice vacation.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. Get away, take a little break from poker for at least a little bit. Just try to relax,
Joel, people want to know, how long did it take you to grow this beard?
I get that question every day. And actually, 10 years, but I started growing it when I got married. So it's a marriage beard.
Nice.
Game over, so why I don't need to shave anymore.
What are your thoughts on the Mega Monster? We just announced the Mega Monster will be coming back next August, so I'm sure you're going to come back as the returning champion next August. But you play here every day. But what are your thoughts on this tournament?
I think it's great. It's amazing that you're able to get that many people to enter a single tournament, and then now with the San Antonio location, I think things are just gonna get better, and prize pools are gonna get larger and larger. So it's pretty exciting for the future.
You're originally from Louisiana, right?
Yes.
And how long have you lived here?
Been here a little over 3 years now. We moved here when COVID hit in New Orleans, and the casinos closed, and not a lot of poker there. So it was a good time to get out, and yeah, Austin's been great.
Well, I know you're great friends with Jeremy and the boys on the 1-3 table. You guys battle every single day on the 1-3 here at the lodge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's regular for sure.
Well, I know. What did you think about having Skull Mike? Skull Mike finished 5th for 60 grand. What a great run for him.
Yeah, it was. Mike did pretty good. I'm happy for him.
You two were involved in a few pots. Well, Joel, everyone here at the Lodge is very proud of you. We know that you're here pretty much on every day of the week. If you're not, we send a. We ask, are you feeling okay? Because you're here all the time. But we're so proud of you and good. Can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Joel will finish in first place, take home the trophy, and walk out of here with $302,000. Folks, it's been my pleasure. I want to thank a couple people. I want to thank Jaywin for stopping in the bunker. I want to thank Bones for doing such a great job today. Safi was our game host. We had 3 great dealers, Final Table Kev, Anastasia, and Lisa. For everybody here at the Lodge Mahal, get on out there, play some poker. Hopefully, it's right here at the Lodge. Take care, everybody.